Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Welcome into a Friday edition of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
I was going to say,
multicolored
what is going on?
G. Bush, Kermit the Frog fit up in the house today. G, what inspired this look?
Hey, I like that. If I had this great joint, that would have been fire. I looked at it like, whose coat is this? That one right there? That's a fire coat. Change the next color. Not. I got this one on today. That's the real one. Do you have another one?
I think it can only be green screened gray and turn off the green, turn on the green.
I like the gray one, but a green one is much more fire.
Well, quick. Do people know which is the real one?
Well, you just
That's
said
it. Well, I kind of told them.
But it is actually looking when Steve switches back and forth.
Yeah.
If you didn't know better, you may not know which is the real jacket.
You know what I need you to do? I could save a lot of money on clothes. I'm going to go get one jacket, and then I'm going to come in and tell you, Steve, I need the gray joint today. You know what I'm saying? Just run that whole thing back.
Well, we could do that with Bull. He has 3 shirts.
Oh, Lord.
Like we just changed the color on Bull's shirt.
See, Earl, this is your man. This is your guy. Why would you do that, man? Pretty much, but you going to listen.
I'm not wrong.
Watch. When Bull gets small, he going to be running around here in these mediums. He gonna be running around, and he gonna have 10 multicolored shirts, and he gonna be running around here in shape.
Hey, I put in the chat a few weeks ago, I can't be the fat guy. So, Bull better be careful with this weight loss thing.
Listen, can you imagine? Hey, Jason, please do not. I'm like, listen, is Jason throwing up in the bathroom?
I mean, something's got to give here. So, I'm going to get back in the gym because I'm not going to be the fat guy.
It is less than a month till Bull's surgery. Yesterday was the 1 month lead up. He was telling us he needs a 3-week ramp up to actually get the surgery. Then after the surgery, it's like 3-4 months of like restrictive eating.
Yeah.
He said his doctor told him he could lose up to 150 pounds in 18 months.
Oh my!
His target weight is 220, by the way. Jason.
I told this man. I talked to Bull behind the scenes because it's crazy because both of my brothers got gastric bypasses, right? So they've had both surgeries. One is like the sleeve, and one of them, which is like they just restricted. Another one, my other brother got like he's left with like a quarter of his stomach.
Wow.
Do you know which one Bull's getting?
I think he's going to get the one where they take the stomach out, because the sleeve, there's a chance that if you overeat, it'll come. Okay. It can get bigger. But he is correct. Shout out to him. I do not envy him. This is the worst part of it, because now in the beginning, you have to actually go through like a combine of weight loss. Like you got to drink nothing but like liquid diets. You can't have nothing. And you got to lose a certain amount of weight before they give you the surgery, right? And on top of it, they make you go to like psychologically speaking, go through it, because they want to make sure that understand it's like a lifestyle change. And
sure.
Because my brother told me, he said it was crazy because he thought in his mind, when he got the surgery, it was, I can't eat anymore. But he said, I got depressed because we would go to restaurants and everybody else would be eating. And he's just sitting there. And that was a big sourse of his community. You know what I'm saying? So it took him a while to get it took him about 6 months. And both of them, shout out to both my brothers, they both lost over 130, 40 pounds, both of them. So, I decided that I could not. People say, G. Bush, you trying to get in shape for your wife? And I said, no, I was just being a competitive. I'm like, under no circumstances will I be the biggest person in my family.
Well, we were, when I was covering the NBA, there was, I don't want to embarrass anybody, there was a writer in another city who was real heavy. And weight fluctuated, would try and diet real hard, and would kind of get small and then put it back on. And we happened to be in that city when he was really on a roll and losing a lot of weight. And I flippantly said to Varda McMahon, I was like, oh my God, like I'm as big as such and such now. Like this is terrible. I need this boy to put this back on so I can feel better about myself.
Look, you be looking around like, listen, you want to be happy. You be like, yeah, that's good.
You better not be smaller than me.
How many pounds you lose? You go right back home. I can't stand stand him.
Yeah.
Boy.
We're rooting for Bull.
Yes.
Bull says the things he's looking most forward to.
We're rooting for Bull to a certain point. He just can't get less
lower
than
than Jason.
Yep.
Yeah. So you guys, well, what we got to do is, and G, I've seen you in the KYC gym before. We're talking. Me and Tyvis have got some lifts, and we got to start doing some post-show, just entire squad lifts. Like that's what we got to get into.
I like that, man.
Run you through some circuits, Jason. You'll drop the pounds like nothing.
Hey, man, we're not gonna be doing. You two, you young. You be doing. He does lifts that actually do something.
Yeah.
Like you be in there squatting, front squatting, cleaning. Like I'm like, bro, you doing legs today? The only legs I'm doing is walking from that car to in here.
You live stream your walks with your wife. Don't tell me you ain't walking.
I mean, but the legs, I'm not going. You're not never seeing me do nobody squats. I walk. I'm a walker, right? And then if I get into it, I'll start lifting a little bit. But yeah, it's certain lifts I can't get to. I can't get to them. I ain't gonna do that.
Yeah, I was in that workout class for a while. I enjoyed it, and then I got schedule change, and I got lazy. And I got out of it. But I need to get back.
There you go. Look, you look like you done lost some weight already.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Hey, look there it is.
Yeah, keep that one on.
Man,
keep that one on.
Can you imagine what Bull's take's gonna be like when he lose weight? Oh boy, this dude gonna be. Listen, his take's gonna be crazy.
He's gonna be grumpy during the post-surgery phase where he can't eat enough. Man, like I'm a little worried.
This man gonna be in here standing on this table.
A table rocks, so be careful.
Yeah, no, he'll break that.
You mentioned your brothers earlier. I want to give a shout out to my sister real quick. It's her 31st birthday today. So
happy birthday,
Becca.
Happy birthday.
It's weird when your little sister's now a number that doesn't feel little anymore.
That's right.
Like 31 is it's hard to say little sister when she's in her 30s.
It's freaking out my family. I turned 50 this year.
Shoot.
And my family's like, how is baby Jason 50?
It feels weird.
Yeah.
McNuggets was going to hit you when you go back to your college town, right? I went to OU last year because they was doing something with the football program. And I went back, and when I got down there, usually I hadn't been down there in 20 years. I saw everybody as relatively your same age.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I got down there, and I said, these are children. These are all children.
Yep.
I kind of not one up you, but you know what I learned yesterday? So you guys know I played at Emerson.
Mm-hmm.
Ray Allen's son is a freshman on the Emerson basketball team this year. Like the Ray Allen, his
Jesus
son.
Shuttlesworth?
Jesus Shuttleworth's son.
That's crazy. And you so old now, people don't even know what that game is. They might not know what that reference is. He
got game. But when I found that out, my brother texted me and was like, is this real? And it was an article in The Athletic about the next Ray Allen.
Yeah.
And I had to call Coach. I'm like,
is that really?
Like, I know it's the New York Times, but AI's really good right now.
Right.
I work with someone who works at the New York Times. That isn't always so. No, I'm just kidding. But he's like, he's a freshman working his way up. But that made me feel like I was in college when Ray Allen was in ball. Man, I feel old, man. I don't feel physically old. Mentally, that made me feel really old.
Yeah, people in my generation, I just saw something that said you're caught in between. Understanding what life used to be when you had to catch somebody at the house to actually literally call them.
Yeah.
And then you're caught in between. You live that life, but then all of a sudden you got adjusted to it. And then that guy was like, oh, no. It's a thing called online. And so you're kind of in that middle ground where you don't belong anywhere. You just kind of float around.
We've seen it all. Our generation is.
So we are a man without a country. We just looking around, just trying to figure it out.
It was fun. You said, then we'll go. You said Jesus Shuttleworth and He Got Game. I had to do that thing yesterday in Chicago. We taped that show for The Athletic, and one of the things that they played this game where you blind rank the top 10 basketball movies. Mm-hmm. And we wound up with He Got Game way lower, I think, than it should have been.
The blind rankings are tough.
There's some movie I'd never even heard of that was second that Kevin Durant did. I'd never even heard of it.
It was not good.
Hey, Jason, you said He Got Game?
No, He Got Game wound up being lower than it should have been. I'd never even heard of the KD movie.
Story.
I remember what it was. I don't remember.
I demanded Hoosiers won.
Yeah, I would go.
So we got Hoosiers at 1, and the rest of us.
I remember, as a kid, I seen the promos to He Got Game just coming on TV.
Yeah.
I knew who Ray Allen was. Of course, everybody know who Denzel Washington was. And I used to go to my grandparents' house every weekend, and I just remember begging my grandmother to take me to see He Got Game. She didn't know anything about it. This is an old Christian church going on. And so I'm just I just want to go see He Got Game. It's a basketball movie. I'm a kid. Of course they don't have all the X-rated stuff in the previews. Man, we get in that movie theater. About a good 10 minutes in.
10 minutes in, he getting busy.
It was all bad.
When he's on the recruit visit?
Yeah, he's getting busy everywhere.
That's a fun little movie to watch with your grandma then, Earl.
That's the most embarrassing thing in the world. Boy, we got to go. She took you to church right after that.
She prayed over you when that was
Bible
over.
study. Get in the car.
Last thing before we go,
Yep.
Good luck to my Avon Lake swim team. We're going to Bowling Green right after the show. Districts this weekend.
Nice. AJ swimming?
Yeah.
Nice.
Both relays. They got a shot at state. They got a shot
Hell
to
yeah.
state. They're right on the cut.
Well, good luck to Avon.
So, Lake.
Lake.
Not Avon. It's Avon Lake.
Well,
They're
yeah,
completely different.
I always forget.
Do not confuse
I always
them.
forget which one. I
Avon dominates everything. We do not anymore.
Except swimming.
We used they dominate swimming too.
Well, you know,
it's
good luck to
unbelievable.
Avon and Avon Lake. We wish you guys the
And
best.
y'all say white people don't claim hoods.
Yeah,
You
look.
see how Jason stood on
We
listen.
are Avon Lake.
Listen, they have 2 cul-de-sacs. We have a cutoff and a gated community.
Avon-
It's different.
Avon is insane. Avon won the state title in football this year, in volleyball, I think, like 2 or 3 sports in one season.
That's
they won
impressive.
state championships,
That's
and they got a crazy swimmer who's 1 year older than AJ. Like they're phenomenal and everything. It's unbelievable how they're doing it. Hopefully one day we can be Avon, but right now we are not.
Well, let's let the Lake boys sit in pity. All right, let's get into our first topic today. First, I know you got to read.
Yeah, no read to start the show. Just a simple good morning to the city of Cleveland. Good morning to Cleveland Cavaliers fans. Good morning to the UCSS chat. Remember, man, like, subscribe to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. If you know somebody who's not subscribed for whatever reason, go ahead and let them know, man. It costs them nothing to help us out in that way. With that, let's get into it, man. The Cleveland Cavaliers dominate the Brooklyn Nets yesterday in their first game back from the All-Star break. That's their 6th win in a row, 6th straight win over Brooklyn, dating back to November of 2024. Mike, I'll start with you. You was in the building. A couple things. How was the atmosphere, and what were some of the takeaways from this team despite the opponent we was playing?
The atmosphere was good. The game was never close. Like, the Cavs were up 20 points essentially 5 minutes into the game. Head coach for Brooklyn, Jordi Fernandez, called a timeout 41 seconds in. Gee, that's the rage timeout?
Yeah.
Jared Allen blocked the shot. They came down. They hit a bucket. He said, nope, timeout. And you knew immediately from that point that was going to end very poorly for Brooklyn. The Cavs dominated in all facets. It was the turn of Evan Mobley and Dean Wade to the lineup. Dean Wade, by the way, 3 for 3 from beyond the arc. We're going to talk a little bit about what he and James Harden said in regards to playing with each other in just a few minutes. But overall, there wasn't a ton to take away from this game in particular because of how lopsided it was, because of how dominant the Cavaliers were. But my big takeaway from being there is there is an aura this team is starting to play with, guys. It is a level of confidence that did not exist prior to the James Harden trade, and it's tangible. You know, sometimes we talk about the X factor, the it factor. You can't actually feel it. You just kind of know when you see it. Well, I know what I'm seeing with the Cavs and how they're playing right now. I understand the opponents in the 4 James Harden games have not been great. They're playing 3 teams that qualify as tanking teams. So I understand the competition has not been up to the level you'd want to see them beat when they're making a championship push, but they sound more confident. They're playing more confident. They're playing more concise and predetermined instead of thinking. It just feel like they're playing basketball now, G, in a way that they hadn't been before. And when you look at the totality of the situation, Cavs are playing as good at basketball as any team in the NBA right now, which is a terrific sign as we get ready for the final 26 games of the season.
Man. Listen, I'm going to tell you what. Cavs can be dangerous. Cavs can be dangerous. I know it's 4 games, but what McNugget's saying, I can't deny. You feel it. It's palpable. You understand it. When you watch the games, you take a look at what they were doing before when they had the core 4. It is a night and day game out here because Donovan Mitchell is playing with, I think, the most freedom and confidence that I've seen him play in a long time. And it's not just the numbers, it's the way that he has the confidence that if anything bogs down or if anything happens, I know I got somebody that can pass, shoot, score, make plays for other people, and I don't have to have all of that. And I think he understands now, hey, I can fall back into the rotation and fall back in and make sure that other people's getting involved. And I think he's having probably some of the best having some fun and the most fun he's had in a very long time. And I got to actually say this too, because I didn't want to be this to be missed. Hey, Jared Allen, man, let me just tell you something. I appreciate you, bro. Jared Allen, you out here, I don't understand what's happening. Kenny Atkinson has said that he's playing some of his best basketball that he's had. I'm saying you get technical fouls. I'm saying you be angry. I'm saying you try to dunk on everybody moving. When you get the ball in the post, you are looking to score. You're not being passive. Everything about this, the thuggish, ruggish bone, Jared Allen, I'm all for it. I'm cornrow, Jared Allen is different. Evan Mobley even came back today, and he's like, no. I know Evan is supposed to be a focal part of what we're doing. But no, I'm Jared Allen, and I'm nice too. If he's playing like that, and if he can continue to keep that energy up, the Cavs play like a different team, Jason. They just do with this. And I just think that right now, there's a lot of people in Cleveland that are standing up, taking the notice and being like, this team is scared if they continue to keep moving and molding and working and getting better.
Yeah, obviously I agree with what you said. There's an injection of life in this team since the trade deadline. There was a while where it looks thin and slim that they had a finals run in them, and now I think anything's possible with this team. I'm curious, what you think of the starting lineup last night?
I loved it, and I think I've said, and I understand. The level of if I'm about to say is the size of the Pacific Ocean. That's how big of an if it is, because Dean Wade has not showed the propensity to hit a shot in the playoffs since we've been doing UCSS. So I understand the if is longer than my wingspan. It is longer than the screen, whatever. The if is gigantic. If Dean Wade can make open shots, he is the perfect fifth starter for this, whatever you want to call iteration of the core four. There's so much creation in the hands of James Harden. There's so much creation in the hands of Donovan Mitchell. They're going to play a ton of pick and roll, which means you have that fifth starter essentially stuck in the corner, standing there waiting to catch and shoot. We asked Dean Wade after the game last night, and by the way, Dean Wade went 3 for 3 last night from beyond the arc. He was 4 for 4 from the game, 3 for 3 from beyond the arc. We asked him, like, hey, when you know you're a recipient from a James Harden, like, what's the mindset? Because you know you're not going to get many touches in the flow of the offense. And Dean said, I love it. Guys, because I just can focus on defense. The only thought on offense I have is, if I catch it, shoot it. Because they're not passing to me unless it's the end of a shot clock and or I'm wide open. And when you can simplify that for a player like Dean Wade, who has – people feel very different ways about Dean Wade. Some people love Dean Wade to a level I think is probably too high, and some people think he stinks, and that's not incorrect. That's not correct either. It's somewhere in the middle. If you can simplify things for Dean Wade, and he could simply be a stand-in-the-corner shooter, and then focus all his attention on defense and rebounding, which the trio of Allen, Mobley, and Wade defensively over the last 4 seasons ranks at worst in the 92nd percentile and as high as the 100th percentile in trio defensive ratings across the NBA. That's an incredible front line to have behind Donovan Mitchell and James Harden, and you're supersized. Your smallest guy is Donovan Mitchell, who, by the way, is 6'8" arms and is no small dude. You have 6'5" James Harden, 6'9" Dean Wade, 6'11" Evan Mobley, listed at 7 foot, but really 6'8" Jared Allen at center. So, like, that's a supersized front line. To me, that's their best starting lineup if Dean Wade can hit shots in the playoffs. And I fully understand that is a gigantic, massive, humongous if.
I'm wondering, what is the trade-off? I think when you look at it, what's the trade-off between him and Jalen Tyson? Obviously, Jalen Tyson's played very well. He's shooting well.
Tyson's better, but in that fifth starting role alongside those other 4, you're just a standstill corner shooter.
Yeah.
Tyson's too good to just be a standstill corner shooter. I like him with the second units more, where you can actually utilize his on-ball creation skills.
But even then, he's always going to have somebody in front of him, because Donovan or Harden one is going to be on the floor. Mm-hmm. I would say pretty much, unless there's
Kenny said, unless
trouble.
it's foul trouble, they're playing the whole game.
Yeah, so he's going to have somebody in front of him, but he can be that second creator at times that they've always loved to run with. I totally agree with what you're saying. I think Jalen's too good to be a stand corner shooter, but Dean's got to make shots.
He has to.
And he has to. It doesn't matter if you make him against Brooklyn in February.
You got to make him in the playoffs.
You got to make him in May against Detroit. And if I'm a team opposing the Cavs, I'm leaving Dean open until he proves to me he can make shots.
Right.
And then if you make shots, then you make that adjustment. But, I mean, we advocated Dean being the starter forever. 2 years ago. Yeah, that we liked how this lineup looked, even before the Hunter trade. But then he couldn't stay. He got hurt at the wrong time, and he just was ineffective in the playoffs to the point where you just can't count on him. So he's got another shot. We'll see.
Yeah. Oh, you got a question?
Yeah, back to Jared Allen. You talked about just Jared, how he's played lately. Yesterday before the game, Kenny Atkinson said that essentially Jared Allen has made him pay attention to him. And we seen Jared start to take off a couple games before James Harden arrived. In your opinion, what you think clicked? What you think changed that all of a sudden we seeing Jared Allen 2.0?
I think the reality of people getting moved on from is sometimes people can go one or two ways. You can either take it and look at it and sulk around and kind of pout about it and say woe is me and what's going on. We was the core four. We were supposed to have a nucleus. But when DeAndre Hunter and Darius Garland got traded, the reality of the situation was they told you that the team was not good enough. They let you know that they needed to make moves and to do certain things to be a contender. And it signaled, hey, bro, nobody is safe. Everybody is expendable. And I also think some of what happened was that Jared Allen, to be honest with you, was not, when the Cavs were beginning the season, he was not getting minutes in crunch time. He wasn't part of the ending rotations. And I think he got to a point and realized, oh, I might want to do something here. I might want to figure this thing out because it's a good opportunity here. I got a good opportunity to be a part of what we got going here. It's a good opportunity because Kenny Atkinson knows me. It's a situation where I might go to another team and they might not even utilize me in the same way. So he was like, yo, James Harden came in here. I'm going to need to be finishing and doing everything I need to do. I just like the fact that he's more aggressive, and it seems as if he is now not deferring and understanding that he actually needs to do something for the Cavs to get to the next level.
There's another part of this that I don't think we fully understood how good James Harden was when they acquired him. We know every rim running big that he's played with has had like career highs, right? Well, part of the reason is he makes it an emphasis to feed you when you roll. But another thing he did, and last night it was on full display, and I'll put this in football terms for everyone because I know more people understand football than basketball. It's one thing to make a catch in football and then just fall down, right? But it's the yak. That's how you pick up big chunk plays. How do you get yak? You lead the receiver to the open area, correct? James Harden throws the ball to where the big should be. And there were 2 or 3 occasions yesterday where Jared Allen was rolling. It didn't even matter which side. The one I'm thinking of, he was on the right side of the lane. Mm-hmm. James Harden saw that the help defense was in the corner on the right side. The left was wide open. Harden threw the ball to the left side of the paint. Allen takes one more step than he would have traditionally, catches it, and goes right into an easy lefty layup. Harden's throwing these guys open to the point where they're catching it, you have no choice but to be decisive, right? Like in Allen's head, his plan was to roll down the right side of the lane. If he catches there, okay, now there's a guy in front of me. Now I have to make a decision. Now I have to figure out where's the help. Should I go up with the shot? Should I kick to the corner? Because Harden threw it to the left side, he catches it, looks around. There's no other option. It's just simply go up with it. Kenny said it's basically like a quarterback leading a receiver. I think it's even more than that. It's leading a receiver to a point where they have no other plan B. James is telling you, you're catching the ball here, and you're going to finish it. And Allen, more than anybody, and it's too early to make any definitive declarations on Mobley because it's been 20 minutes of blowout basketball. Allen says, you're making a decision for me? Okay. I'm the 3rd highest field goal percentage shooter in the history of the league. I ain't going to think. I'm just going to go do what I do. And it's led to some emphatic dunks.
Yeah.
It's led to some great finishes.
Yeah.
And it's allowing Allen to show us some of the footwork that made him a higher caliber offensive player than we kind of gave him credit for in the past.
Jason, he really, to me, he has very good footwork, excellent touch. He can finish with the left. He can finish with the right. He's also a really good passer for a big man from big to big passing. So to me, it's all coming together because I think James Harden also does a very good job of getting him involved early. You see when Mobley we'll get to Mobley later on, but you see Mobley come in, the first thing they do, let's get to him. I love the fact that they had a lot of different action at the top of the key. They running some different stuff. And right now with both of the bigs, the way Harden is looking for people, it's like it's cool because he's looking for you, getting you involved, and then he goes on a little mini spurt of his own where, all right,
makes him special.
Like, hey, let me hit the 3. Now I'm gonna show you get to the rim. Now I'm gonna show you pump fake. I'm at the free throw line. So it's just I think when you have a guy like that that is able to distribute. The bigs, just like as a former big guy, I don't want to just be blocking shots and McNuggets is getting the ball.
You're still a big guy. You're not a former big guy.
Hey, listen, if I get to 220, it's over. I'm going to let you know that right now.
I meant tall. I didn't mean wide. I meant tall.
But
You'll always be a big guy.
But if you running the floor, you saw Evan Mobley. Yeah. Like he got early in I think Harden had got a steal. Evan Mobley takes it off. Takes it off. So I think it's just that energy level is active when you got a dude that you know going to look for you.
Yeah, everything you said about Dean Wade applies to Jared Allen in a different sense. Like, Jared has to do it in the playoffs. I'm not going to sit here and rave about what he's doing in February because he hasn't done it when they've needed him the most. So he's in I think this is his 9th year, but he's only 27. So certainly guys can get better and guys can grow and guys can improve. But, Jared's got a role to fill when everybody's healthy. Mm-hmm. And it's not scoring 40 and it's not being the focal point of the offense. And if he can do that role in May and June, which he has not done previously, until he does that, everything you said about Dean Wade, to me, applies to Jared Allen. We have to see it when it matters.
So in that case, I think this is the biggest we got. So you got Donovan Mitchell. We've been waiting. When you going to get past the second round? We got to see it. James Harden. When you going to get it done? Got to see it.
It's a prove it year for a lot of people.
It's a prove it. I think this is the cool thing about this Cavs team, and I think the reason why I'm anxious to see what they're going to do down the stretch, even though they play bad teams, is because even though they got Darius Garland and DeAndre Hunter left, the people that's still there, everybody still got prove it.
Yeah.
Everybody got prove it. So, and even Kenny, like you said, he was shell-shocked a little bit after last year.
Kenny ain't done it either.
Yeah, so, that's going to be the biggest question mark going down the backstretch.
Yeah,
I got 2 super chats real quick. Shout out to the Real Night King. He says, J.A. realized that nobody is safe and he ain't trying to leave or be traded. He followed it up with, if we win this ship this year, would you say that this Cavs team is better than the 2016 team or equal to?
No.
Team at Braun.
That 20, let's not be prisoner of the moment on what that 26 team had accomplished. To beat the 73-win Warriors, to come back from 3-1 down.
That team also, if the Warriors were not in the Western Conference, could easily have 2 or 3 titles. Should have 2 or 3 titles for what it's worth.
You know what's so crazy, McNuggets? I go back often because, I'm excited about the Cavs. I go back. And over the last couple of days, I went back just to check some of those teams. You went through 2018, and I went to the 2017 Cavs.
Loaded.
Were
17 Cavs might have been better than the team that won championship.
I went back and watched the 17 Cavs and was like, I go back and watch the Christmas Day game when Kyrie hits that shot.
Hit the shot over Clay.
I'm watching that team and be like, these guys literally. I watched the Atlanta Hawks talk about it on a podcast. What's his name?
Jeff Teague.
Jeff Teague. He's like, bro, these dudes, the Cavs, you can't beat LeBron. They was hitting 20, 24, 25, 26 threes. He passed the ball to J.R. Smith. He wouldn't miss.
I mean, I've talked about it before. Mike Budenholzer was the coach of the Hawks. Would come in. It was, I think, the most despondent I've ever seen a coach in a playoff series. He would sit at the podium like, do you guys have any suggestions? Because I have no idea how to defend this team.
Zero.
He was so defeated. That team was unbelievable.
It should have more than one ring. They just happened to go against another all-time historic elite team.
And I mentioned this before, and I love Kyle Korver. Great guy. They brought Kyle Korver here to make one shot.
And he missed it.
That corner 3 at home in the finals in 2017. They made the trade and brought him here for that shot.
And it just, but no, that I do like. I will say this, though, Earl. The construction of the team is a lot like that team a little bit, but it's not LeBron who does it. James Harden is in the mold of a guy who does it like LeBron, where in terms of controlling the game. If you put the ball in his hands, he can pick and roll. He'll dribble the ball for 35 seconds if you want him to, and he's going to figure out which guy needs the ball, whether it's a pocket pass, whether it's a corner 3, whether it's reverse. And then Donovan Mitchell is kind of in that same mode as Kyrie Irving, where it's like, all right, well, you can't guard me one-on-one. I'm going to get my money off. So you do have the 2 ball-dominant guys that go back up, but the way that LeBron and Kyrie was doing it was like at a crazy level, at a ridiculous level.
You had the best player in the game on that team, but also like that 16 team was better. But don't worry about that. Like, celebrate this team for what it is. Don't get into the comparison stuff of who was. It doesn't matter. You got a team now that's built to win a championship and can win a championship. So just enjoy that and don't worry about what happened 10 years ago.
I will say this: April
Real quick,
was great.
I got one last question for you all as we wrap this up. We got Mike Renner of CBS Sports waiting in the wing to talk to us next. But small sample size of this new look Cleveland Cavaliers. Just from what you're seeing, real quick, what would you say the biggest difference is between this current Cleveland Cavaliers team and the one that we had about a month ago?
Belief.
Aura and confidence, yeah.
Belief.
Yeah.
I mean, James is better than Darius Garland, but they needed to believe that they could do it.
And not only did they acquire James Harden, they reacquired All-Star Jared Allen.
Well, that's
really was a 2-for-1 deal in that sense.
That's true.
Yeah, I would say confidence, and there's a more diverse skill set from your best two players.
Yeah. All right, Earl, you want to do a read? Let's bring in Mike Renner, talk some Browns and some mock draft scenarios.
For sure. We got Mike Renner waiting to join the show. I just want to let everybody know, man, follow us on all of our UCSS socials. If you want to see some clips that will trigger your emotions, piss you off a little bit, kind of make you want to go clip on one of our clips on the YouTube page, man, send us a follow on X, on Instagram, and on TikTok, man. We appreciate that. Again, it costs nothing to support us in this way, so shout out to y'all.
And with that, we are thrilled to welcome CBS Sports' Mike Renner to the show. Mike, how you doing today, man? Thanks so much for joining us on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me on, fellas.
Mike, in your latest mock draft, you had the Browns taking Caden Proctor at number 6 and Denzel Boston at number 24. We'll dive into some of the other stuff, but we were talking pre-show on the Proctor pick. You seem to be a lot higher on the Alabama prospect than the consensus in terms of the top tackles in the draft. In your mind, why is Proctor your number 1 tackle, and why does he necessarily fit in your mind with whatever the Browns are concocting here under new head coach Todd Monken?
Well, he fits with the Browns because they need a tackle desperately, right? Like any tackle fits with the Browns at this point in time. But I think him specifically because of what he could be. I have him as my top tackle because of the upside. I see a guy who is special physically. I think we'll see that next week at the Combine. And it's when he's in shape is the biggest thing. He's 366 pounds is what he was listed as Alabama. And at times, reportedly at Alabama, he was up over 400. And when he was that, he wasn't good. And in certain games, you saw him look slow. But I thought by the end of last season, he looked in the best shape I had seen him. And his tape was the best of any guy in this tackle class. So I will bet on a guy who's still only 20 years old, has freakish physical tools, and to me has the type of balance and sort of play and body control that can translate to the tackle position in the NFL. So for all those reasons, he's my top tackle. And for the Browns specifically, why I lean with that number 6 pick, OT, as opposed to wide receiver or really any other position is because tackle just historically does not last long. If you want an elite tackle, you just go look at the elite tackles throughout the NFL. More often than not, they are top 15 picks in the NFL draft. It's a somewhat easy position to scout because it's so physically demanding that you can see the guys who are going to be the upper echelon in the NFL very early on in their collegiate careers and then obviously as prospects. So that's why I have them going Caden Proctor, because you don't necessarily need the guy right now. You need the guy 2 or 3 years from now to be elite, and he has the best chance of being that, in my opinion.
Mike, I do like his athleticism. I kind of compare him when you look at him. We got a guy named DeJuan Jones, but I think Proctor is a better athlete than he is. And he was also a higher rated player coming out of high school as well. Some people got a problem with the fluctuating weight. DeJuan Jones had a problem with the fluctuating weight. Also, there's some out there that project him like Maui Noga into potentially being a better guard than a tackle. What are your thoughts on whether or not he's better than Maui Noga in some of the weight concerns at tackle?
Yeah, I mean, I have those exact same weight concerns, right? You're going to have to promise me, when in the interviews, when you get through the process, that he's going to have his weight under control. And, with those Epic and stuff nowadays, I feel like it's getting easier, right, for these guys, or at least it should be. So at least there's that, right? So that part, I do agree. the guard thing, I think that's also why I'm high in him, is because pretty much all the concerns when you watch his tape are, does he have the foot speed? It's going against NFL speed on the edge. If you move that guy to guard, I think all those concerns go away and you have like an all-pro potential guard. And so it's kind of similar to the strengths and weaknesses that I see from Maui Noah. I just think Maui Noah isn't quite the physical specimen that Proctor is. He's a little bit shorter. He's a little bit more traditional guard build in terms of size, in terms of body composition. And then just for him on the edge, I didn't think his hands were as good and didn't have as much sustain and pass protection. And then he didn't face the top competition, right? He's playing in the ACC. Proctor's playing 3 years at left tackle in the SEC. He's battle tested in that regard in a much more pass happy offense. I think that was the other thing about Miami. It's a lot of screens. It's not a lot of NFL concepts, whereas Kalen DeBoer, what he runs at Alabama, or what he brought over, is a lot of drop back passing. So you got to see what Proctor would look like in an NFL offense. So that's kind of how I see those two and why I project Maui Noah a little bit more on the interior than even Proctor.
Mike, you had Denzel Boston going to the Browns at 24. How much does he look like his daddy?
Well, he's not massive yet, right? Like his dad got in the NFL. But he's the similar type of player, right? He is a strong, physical outside receiver with incredible hands, incredible ball skills, and it's just super reliable, right? I think all these sons of former NFL players, you kind of like the scouting reports all the same. They all just seem to know how to play football at a better level than your average prospect, or even like, your above average prospects. Guys like Patrick Surtain come to mind when I think of guys like Antoine Winfield, right? They just like see the game better. And that's how I feel about Denzel Boston. So he's not quite the physical specimen that his dad was. I don't think he's going to test off the charts, but he's more than good enough athlete to win at the NFL level. And for the Browns specifically, just that reliability factor is so important at that position.
Mike, we've talked about a few fake trade down scenarios for the Browns. And the way I look at it is, whatever the Browns cut off in terms of blue chip prospects in this draft is, that they can't get below that. They need so much talent on this team. And if they think there's only 4 blue chip guys in this draft, then maybe they move down. If they think there's 6, well, in my opinion, you can't move out of that top 6 spot because you need to come away with at least one blue chip prospect here. In your mind, when you look at the entire board, how many blue chippers are there in this 2026 draft class?
It's tough because I think there's probably around 7 to 8, depending on how you really want to make the cutoff. But a lot of those are at lesser valued positions, I'd say. So, I think Caleb Downs is a blue chip prospect. He's a safety. They traditionally don't go high. I think Jeremiah Love is a blue chip prospect. He's a running back. They traditionally don't go highly. I think that Sonny Styles is a blue chip prospect. He's a linebacker. They don't go highly either. So like 3 of those guys are at positions that don't traditionally go that way. I think the 2 defensive ends, Reuben Bain, Arvell Reese, are both blue chip type of prospects. And then I think Jermod McCoy is a blue chip prospect, the Tennessee corner, but he's coming off an ACL. And that's why I say 7 or 8, because I'm not sure I put him in that conversation because he didn't play all last fall. But the last time we saw him on tape, I would put him in that conversation. And then the last one being Fernando Mendoza. So I think that's where it is. If you're trading down, I think you're missing that boat. But that's not necessarily the worst thing in the world, right? Because if you get just a very good, let's say, wide receiver, who's not necessarily a blue chip wide receiver like a Jordan Tyson or Mekhi Lemon, I wouldn't call blue chip guys, but I call them very good. Well, they probably get paid more than Caleb Downs, even if he's a blue chip safety, because that's just the nature of how wide receivers and safeties get paid. So it's always a difficult conversation in the draft when weighing talent versus positional value.
Speaking of that, Mike, we had a couple conversations on this show this week about the possibilities of the Cleveland Browns taking Caleb Downs at pick number 6. What's your thoughts on that? What would you think if the Cleveland Browns made that move?
So I do think there is a balance of power shift in the NFL, and we saw it this past year in that the defenses are starting to outpace the best offenses in the NFL. And I think we really saw it with a team like the Houston Texans, where you don't need to have a good offense to get to very close to a championship, right? You just need to have something there if you're dominant enough on the defensive side of the ball. Like the Broncos, the Seahawks, they weren't in the Final Four, and Seahawks obviously didn't win the title because of their offense. They won because of what they could do defensively. So a guy like Caleb Downs would get you to that realm, in my opinion, of this Browns defense of being like, hey, we're good enough to just win one on the backs of our defense. Just give us something from the offensive side of the ball. So I wouldn't argue. I think making one unit dominant is a valid team building strategy. So if like you still have a need and it's still an improvement, I'm not just a guy who's like, our offense is so bad we have to go offense. It's like, no, you could use a safety. Caleb Downs is an elite safety. Why not? So I would not argue with that pick if it were to be the case. I think he's that good.
I couldn't do it. Here's why I wouldn't do it. I'm gonna let you know right now. He drafted safety, and the Browns start scoring 14 points again, 13 points. He got about 4 games. Listen, McNuggets is waiting for him. Jason Lloyd is waiting. Andrew Berry, don't you do that. Do not go out here and get you Caleb Downs and be like, we got 2. That would be 2 years in a row. You went and got Mason Graham, and you got Caleb Downs. Now, trust me, I love Caleb Downs. I think he's magnificent. I think he's a game changer. He's everything that you want in a leader in your back end. But the problem is, the Browns. Have you seen the Browns? Yeah, it's kind of tough to watch on offense. Why not give me a Tate right now, and then we better, or a Jordan Tyson? And how big of a gap is there between a Caleb Downs and Jordan Tyson, Mekhi Lemon, or Tate?
No, I tend to agree. I don't think it's, like I said, I wouldn't argue with it. It's not probably where I would go in this draft class if I were the Cleveland Browns. I truthfully would probably go offensive tackle, though, for what I kind of said earlier, is that I think these wide receivers are very good. I think Jordan Tyson, like I said, I think Caleb Downs is a blue chip prospect, but truthfully, I would have on my final board that takes into positional value, I think I will have the 2 wide receivers ahead of them just because I think they are very safe wide receiver picks, that being Jordan Tyson and Carnell Tate. I think they're very safe. I think they're extremely talented. I think you can basically chalk them up to be like second contract, sort of top 15 8 wide receivers in the NFL. That's just like where I see their talent level. So that's why I would probably lean that, just because that saves you so much more, and it's obviously a massive need for this Cleveland Browns team. But also why I say go back to offensive tackle is because that's a huge need for them. And you can't find one top of round 2. You can't find one pick, was it 24 that they have, the second first-round pick. You probably can't find a starter there. If you need a starter at that position and you want them to be close to Pro Bowl caliber, 9 times out of 10, you got to take them in the top 15. That's just the nature of the offensive tackle position. So that's why I probably lean that. But like I said, I think they'll have some options there at 6.
Mike, where do you think the quarterback position is across the league? This is consecutive drafts now where there's not a ton to pick from at the top. Is it? I'm fascinated by this. I want to write about it later on, but I'm just curious, as someone who studies these drafts, what do you think about just the cycle of where we're at with college quarterback play coming out?
I think so 2024 was just such a high, right? They don't distribute evenly, right? These quarterbacks in draft classes. If you just look historically, that's always the case. It's like you get classes like 2004 where you have Eli Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, and you get classes like 2014 when it was just Geno Smith, right, and EJ Manuel. They're just terrible classes. So they never distribute equally. But I think this year specifically, and maybe you can count last year too, I think this year, though, was the inflection point where NIL started robbing classes, where Dante Moore, the Oregon quarterback, he doesn't go back to school if the NIL money hasn't gotten to a point where it's competing with his contract that he would have signed if he came out, right? The $5+ million, where it's like you have a real conversation on your hands just financially that these guys should probably be coming back to school because it makes them more likely to sign a second contract if they are more prepared once they get to the NFL. So I think this is the inflection point where we see a lot of quarterbacks, whether it's Lenore Sellers from South Carolina, Arch Manning from Texas, who probably a half decade ago would have jumped because you go get the payday. That was kind of just the general consensus. That was the common wisdom, was go get your money and you'll figure it out. That isn't the common wisdom anymore. It's play as much college football as you can, get as much money at the collegiate level, then you're best prepared to make as much money at the NFL level because your contracts and your career length in the NFL is so long that it just behooves you to be as prepared as possible once you get to the league. So I think that's where we're at right now, is kind of just this dip where everyone started coming back to school. Everyone's trying to extend their career length at the collegiate level. They're literally suing college football to let them back, like Trinidad Chambliss at Ole Miss. So this is where we're at, and next year I think is when they finally, like, that logjam gets released, and I think the 2027 class is going to be stupid good.
On the backside of that, could there be an oversaturation where there's more – this is going to sound stupid. There's more quarterbacks than teams seeking a franchise quarterback. Is that possible?
After that, you're saying like after next year, or
next year
it's going to happen?
The 27.
I think so. I think at some point in the next 5 to 10 years, we will see such a preponderance that I don't want to say everyone has a franchise quarterback, but we're like as close as we've ever been to that for a couple of reasons. One is career length. You know, guys used to be done in their early to mid 30s. Now guys are playing till their late and early 40s, late 30s, early 40s. So you get probably 5 more years of career length out of these quarterbacks. And then secondly, because just quarterback training, guys are getting it from, you know, middle school on, you know, and there's the guys are coming in so much better prepared to the collegiate level and then so much better prepared to the NFL level that and football has just been such a dominant cultural force that if anyone's even capable of playing football, that's the sport they want to play. It's just so much more enjoyable than, you know, baseball, basketball. For someone who's a quarterback, right? Specifically, it's obviously like probably the most fun position to play in any sport. So you're seeing that, and so I think we will see that start to happen. More and more teams will have a franchise guy, and there's going to be more and more talent throughout the NFL. I think it's going to not necessarily be right now, but I think within the next probably about 5 years from now, I think we'd get to about that point.
Mike, would you be surprised if the Browns drafted a quarterback at some point in this year's draft?
I would not. Because that's just what we saw from Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, right? You'd be lying to yourself if you thought you saw a franchise quarterback as a rookie from either, unfortunately. So it's just the nature of the beast. When you don't have one, it doesn't hurt to keep trying. Now, I don't think it's going to be pick 6. I think it could potentially be that second first rounder with the guy, Ty Simpson from Alabama, who is really a wild card given what he put on tape this year with some very good games, some very high-level tape at times. But then it's his only year as a starter. He got super banged up, had like 3 different injuries this past year. So he's really a wild card in this quarterback class. But if he falls to them in like the second, I think that's, you're for sure taking a pick at that point. So that's how I see the Browns sort of positioning themselves, is that Andrew Berry's always, you know, the reason he drafted 2 last year is because he didn't have any. You know, I think he's always going to keep taking shots knowing that you have to at that position.
Hey, Mike, just a hypothetical here. I'm a huge fan of Jeremiah Smith. We already know best player overall in next year's draft. But if he was in this year's draft, how high you think he'd be drafted?
Number 2. I don't think he goes number 1 because, you know, the Raiders, and for next year, I don't know if he goes number 1 either, just because quarterback versus every other position. Obviously, if you need a quarterback, you draft the quarterback. But he is stupidly good. I mean, just one of the most incredible physical talents I've seen. You know, names like Julio Jones, Andre Johnson, Calvin Johnson get thrown out there, and he's in that realm, if not surpassing that realm. The guy is just a different cat all around, and I cannot wait to see, you know, what he becomes, because I think we kind of take for granted that he's just a sophomore. You know, we're already talking about him as how elite he is, but it's like guys improve. You know, guys still get better physically, technically, and to think that that's possible for someone that's already as good as he is a very scary thought.
What is the all likelihood? What is the position before the Cleveland Browns where you say, if they do want to trade back, what's a position where you're like, I can't get lower than that, knowing that they probably need a receiver, knowing that they probably need offensive linemen? When you look at the board with receivers and offensive linemen, what's a point on the board where you get a little nervous and dropping back and not being able to get either a top flight tackle or a top flight receiver?
Okay, that's a great question. I think 14 is where I start to get worried that both of those classes. So, you know, I think the top 3 receivers, Jordan Tyson, Carnell Tate, Mekhi Lemon for most people, I think there's a chance all 3 are gone by then. And then the top tackles, whether it's Caden Proctor, Spencer Fano, Francis Mauigoa, I think that's most people's top 3. I think by 15, they're gone. So If you go past the Ravens, I think you are missing the boat on both classes, is where I would say is probably a strong cutoff point that probably wouldn't want to trade down below that.
And Mike, we'll get you out of here on this one, but you mentioned the 2027 draft. The Browns have 2 picks in this 2026 draft. Do you see any scenario where Cleveland, or really any team, would be able to acquire a future 2027 pick, knowing how stacked that class is and how this 2026 class may lack the talent at the premium positions that teams typically trade up for? Do you think those 27 picks are going to be in play?
Yeah, never say never, because the Saints are always one team that is willing to move on from future draft capital. There's always some teams that really want this guy right now and to do it. But I think a 2027 first, I don't see it happening. Given how everyone has the exact same take on how 2027 is going to fare, I don't think you'll see a 2027 first rounder moved. But I think you could see like day 2 picks, day 3 picks easily moved in this. But at a first rounder, I'd be very surprised.
Awesome. That is Mike Renner from CBS. Check out his latest mock draft on CBSSports.com. Mike, really appreciate you taking the time to join us today, talk a little Browns.
For sure, fellas. Appreciate you guys.
Awesome. That was Mike Renner. Like I said, his latest mock draft on CBS. He had Caden Proctor going 6 to the Browns, them taking Denzel Boston, the receiver out of Washington, at 24.
His dad obviously is David Boston.
His dad is David.
I think most people would know that.
Yes. Former Ohio State super
monster. Absolutely.
Maybe the
monster.
biggest receiver just in terms of like muscle mass ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. There's a documentary out there, like, my man just couldn't stop lifting.
Addicted to the grind.
Just like, well, he just stopped lifting, bro.
It was detrimental to his game.
He just became like 240 pounds of pure muscle, but you play receiver, bro. Like, you can't.
It's hard to get in and out of cuts when you're
bigger than a tight end. Like, just massive.
Loved. I was just like, yeah, that's not going to work. Shout out to David Boston, man. One of the greatest clips of all time, him and Charles Woodson going at it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Remember taking swing. But nowadays, they would have kicked him out the game, banished him.
Next year, suspended for all of the following year.
Yeah, hey, listen, took half the NIL money. But back then, you could punch somebody dead in the face and be like,
on the field the next play.
That never happened. What are you talking about? This is what Brett Musburger, this is what rivalries are all about.
Like, you move back 15 yards and you do it again. That's it.
Well, now people just run to their phones and hit on burner accounts.
Yeah.
Good transition. Earl, we got to read before we get to that?
I like that.
For sure. I just want everybody to go check out the Ultimate 216 show I did earlier this week with Ethan Sands at Cleveland.com, who covers the Cleveland Cavaliers. We had a fire 30-minute interview. Shout out to y'all. We just went over 1 million lifetime views on the Ultimate 216 show. So thank you for all the support. Make sure you go watch that latest episode. And me and Cecil will be back together live next Wednesday.
Awesome. All right. Well, I mentioned burner accounts for a reason. There's been a lot of news in the NBA lately about Kevin Durant and his alleged use of burner accounts. It came out over All-Star break. He has since denied those reports, but
not really.
He is also a very non-denial denial. You notice
KD playing all hard. I seen KD play defense yesterday. He had like 35 points. He blocking shots, getting back. He talking about, yeah, man. No, Kevin Durant is a mute. He don't say nothing. They get him on a post-game interview. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Me and the young guys, man, we did a really good job. And I'm like, come on, KD.
So, honestly, like, hand up, I saw the nonsense about it. How was it discovered? I never saw how it was figured out. Did you see?
Well, we still don't know for a fact if it's him or not.
Yeah, I know.
But
how did they connect the dots?
Because so apparently it's
all people he's played with.
He's following, his accounts follows his burner accounts, which is like.
Well, that's how his first one got found out. Right. These ones I don't think KD was following.
So he was. Well, that was how he got caught, right? But then people started doing the math and was just like, all right, hold on. Let me check this out. Like the timelines, like there was a whole documentary on these dudes and how they was like just piecing it together like super sleuths. And it got to a point where it was just like, this has to be Kevin Durant.
The moral of the story is people have way too much time on their hands.
Super.
Well, Durant loves it. I mean, Durant does it from his own account a lot too. Like he engages in back and forth all the time.
Remember he did it on accidentally? He accidentally tweeted out of his own account instead of the burner?
Yes, so that's the first time. So we decided let's make it a little Cleveland topic out of this. We don't know for sure if any Cleveland athletes have burner accounts, current or past. So I gave these guys a task, and we're all going to give our own answers, to pick one either current or former Cleveland athlete, that if they had access to a burner account during their playing days, you believe would have utilized said privilege? So, G, you start us off. Which Cleveland athlete, current or former, do you believe would have been in the burnerverse had they been able to when they were here in Cleveland?
This is high allegations, and you know what? I couldn't think of nobody in the great city, great community of the Browns who would do such a thing. But I do know a coach.
Oh boy,
Freddie? No, I believe Hugh Jackson definitely had a burner. Hugh Jackson's had 3 or 4 burners. As a matter of fact, I'll be willing to wager when he came out and they said, well, they asked me to tank. Yeah, I got a contract after I tanked. I know for a fact Hugh Jackson was not playing around. He's like, y'all played me. We gonna get y'all up out of here. Just the interactions alone from Hard Knocks would tell me he had multiple burners with Todd Haley. He had some with Greg Williams. As a matter of fact, when he started coming back to the locker room, talking about, it's all on me. It's on me. If you want to be mad at anybody, blame me. I'm the guy. It's all on me. I know he had burner accounts. I know I don't know. Actually, allegedly, Hugh. I'm just saying. You definitely look like one of the dudes that possibly had a burner account. And the funny thing is, it wouldn't be funny if it wasn't at least 10% probably true.
Yeah.
Great answer.
That's a good call.
Jason, you're up next.
I was trying to think of, because obviously I covered 10 years of Cavs, so I was trying to think of Cavs players who, and there was a couple that I thought of, but I thought they were too obscure that people probably wouldn't remember or wouldn't know.
Like Rodney Hood.
Rodney Hood has never.
Like Christian Ienga, like right. Jeremy Pargo. Jeremy Pargo for sure would have one today, but that's too obscure. People wouldn't remember him.
Samardo Samuels.
Samardo was too stoned to ever have a burner account. he was a trip, man. Samardo was a trip. Then I went to the Browns. I thought Hollywood Higgins. That was a good possibility. Thought Shador. No, I'm kidding.
Listen, those are Shiloh's accounts. Shiloh has them joints, man. Leave him alone.
Well, we have the Leroy Bickerstaff allegations with Deshaun,
with Deshaun.
Right. No, there was like, yo.
I don't think Leroy is Deshaun. I think it's someone close to him, though. Okay. I don't think it's Deshaun.
So who'd you go with, Jason?
I went with Trevor Bauer. Because
another great one.
That's a good one.
I mean, it wouldn't shock me at all if he had a burner account. He just seems to fit the mold, given just his personality and everything about him. So, yeah, I went with Trevor. It wouldn't shock me at all.
So I don't know the previous athletes of the Cleveland era before I got here well enough to put 2 and 2 together. They may have a burner. So I went from 2022 on since UCSS started. And I went back and I actually thought way too hard on this, for the record. Some topics like...
You was in the lab?
Well, I was sitting there at the Nets game last night, and it's not close. I'm like, all right, let's figure this one out. So we looked at Kevin Durant's alleged burner use, and I tried to find some characteristics of Kevin Durant that I could translate into a Cleveland athlete that I think can make sense. Durant is not shy about his social media use, enjoys the back and forth, right? Whether...
Could I guess this from? I want to take a guess.
Let me set it up, and then you guess it. So enjoys the back and forth, is active enough on social media, has a media presence or a presence with media that at times was really friendly and good and at times was a bit tumultuous. And although this player I'm going to mention is not anywhere near the same level as Kevin Durant, in their mind it may have been closer. So, G, who do you think I'm going to go with? It's someone we've discussed in this show numerous times.
Kyrie Irving?
No, I wasn't here for Kyrie.
Kyrie will just say it on his regular.
Give me one more guess. It's a Browns player.
Oh, it's a Browns player. Baker.
Baker would have been a great guy. I went with Juan Thornhill. Thornhill.
You know what? Right.
Because Juan came out and said, hey, I am changing the landscape in Cleveland. Right. I'm sick of the media. You guys, as a media, you're too negative. We're going to start winning. And they did win one year. And then his play tailed off. And then he took some subtle sub-shots at the Browns and the fans via TikTok. There was the play where he did not look like to be giving enough effort.
Yeah.
And then he ended up defending himself. If you're going to defend yourself via your real account, And we could all see that with our own two eyes. What are you doing on the burners? Because there were some Juan Thornhill defenders out there, especially when he signed with Pittsburgh, saying that the Steelers are getting the best version of Juan. I'm not sure if any Browns fan or any NFL fan watching was saying there's a better version than what we just got because it's been all downhill. Unless you're a Juan Thornhill burner and you're defending yourself.
They messed. The travesty is they gave him that number. You got number one.
Number one.
You got number one. That was even. He definitely had a two or three burners because if you had number one and you ain't playing, that's nasty work. I that's a good call. I think he definitely got one of them. Like I thought about a basketball player, and he just rattled off Ricky Davis.
Ricky be a good one.
I just saw a clip of Ricky talking about when he shot at the wrong basket for the triple-double.
Right, like that. He was, and people don't remember this. There is, I forget where I seen this, but when LeBron got here.
Oh, Lord. I know where you're going.
Delonte?
No.
They was hate. They said, like, they drafted him, and they was running around. They were on record. Ricky Davis, Carlos Boozer, Darius Miles. This ain't the way the league work. He gonna come and have to put work in. He gonna do
They definitely would have been talking smack on LeBron's high school. Like he ain't that nice.
They had all three of them had burners at that point in time. When he came out, like I just thought about it. And then the very first game, he pulled up, showed up, took the first. He stole the ball against the Kings, and I was like, oh yeah, you guys are all gonna be gone. You guys are going to be gone in 2 weeks.
Ricky said something to the effect of, he's here to help me or something like that. It was like,
we was like, what?
Yeah, and Brown went for, I think, 23, 7, and 5. His first
never
game.
saw him again.
Something like that at Sacramento.
In my head, he just vanished.
It's like the only first basket of a career I remember. Like, I vividly remember LeBron stealing the ball, going coast to coast, and dunking against the Kings on the most grainy. It was like, television's like 1080 by 720 now?
Man,
that was like 6 by 4.
That was
like you could count the pixels on your screen, but it was so iconic that you'll never forget LeBron's first bucket.
We were having the tanking conversation the other day. Go back and look what the Cavs did the year before LeBron. They traded or cut, basically, like their top 5 scorers.
That's what the Nets are doing right now. I mean, the Nets are ethically tanking. They try hard. They just have no talent.
I mean, it's unbelievable. The trades that the Cavs made the year before LeBron's rookie year to get in position, I mean, it's incredible.
Jason, I know this is off the beaten path, but these dudes, the way they're moving right now with this tanking, I know did y'all talk about that yesterday?
A couple days ago.
Tuesday we did it. Yeah.
This is nasty work. You just getting these dudes like Darius Garland. He's indefinitely out.
I mean, the Wizards traded for Trae Young and Anthony Davis and don't anticipate either playing on.
How literally, what are they going to do about this?
Well, I said the other day, I don't think it's as big of a deal. I'm not as up in arms as apparently Adam Silver is. I think there's far bigger issues in the NBA today right now than tanking. The reason teams tank is because it works. We just talked about it with the Cavs. And like teams that tank for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years is because they're bad organizations. Teams that do it for 1 or 2 years, it's because it works.
It works.
And this is I hate to use the word generational, but this looks like a really, really, really good draft.
Right.
So that's why you have so many teams doing it this year, is because they're trying to get in position to get a shot at one of these top 3 guys. So, and it goes beyond those 3, but those 3 in particular at the top. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. If they wanted to change the lottery odds, I would just flatten everything. Everybody gets, if you miss the playoffs, everybody has the same chance at the first pick.
That's scary.
If you really want to make it. This idea of abolishing the draft, I think, is totally insane. Some of this other stuff that's been thrown out there, I think, is ridiculous. The idea, I saw Shams put a tweet out that teams can't go from the conference finals, then you shouldn't get the number 1 pick the following year. That means the Cavs wouldn't have been able to get Kyrie. That's insane. They lost LeBron. They lost the best player in the game. They lost a franchise. They were a horrible team, and they got the number 1 pick. And you're telling me, in one of the things being proposed is that would not be allowed. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's kind of wild.
So I don't think it's nearly as big of a deal. I said the other day, there are more teams under a 300 winning percentage in the NFL year over year than there are in the NBA. So there's bad teams everywhere.
The bigger issue is the length of the season, but that's harder to adjust.
Yeah, it's not as obvious when you're only playing 17 games versus 82. And I'm not saying NFL teams are tanking. I'm saying they're bad teams and bad organizations, just like you have in the NBA. And Bull and I got into it a little bit, and I understand his point of like it goes to the spirit of the game and the integrity when you're sitting guys.
But the only way some of these teams can get franchise game-changing players is to be bad and happen to have the luck in the lottery. So.
And the NBA, those types of players are more valuable in any other league. It's like quarterbacks in the NFL, but even they're only on the field half the time.
Yeah.
So I get why teams do it. I don't think it's that big of a deal. So I'm in the minority on that.
Getting us back on track here, right? So I'm interacting with the chat. Shout out to the chat. And somebody was like, in my opinion, I don't like this topic. It's distasteful. Basically, you all are trashing people's personalities. Now, in my interaction, I told the chat, I said, I low-key want a burner account. And somebody said, why? And I'm getting to a bigger point of why players might have it. I think it's for that very reason. Because people feel so comfortable online, like sharing these negative opinions, trashing your personality, and you understand that in your profession, you can't necessarily respond like you authentically want to. So
never.
I guess looking outside of ourselves, can you all understand why people might have burner accounts?
I have a burner account. I ain't gonna lie.
We all do you really?
Hell yeah. I use it to trash the Giants.
I just think, see,
I can't be tweeting some of the real thoughts I have about the Giants.
I always feel like first of all, nobody is really taking it serious. People, the internet is not real.
No.
So you gotta realize, and I can see why certain people have burner accounts, because in today's generation, there's certain things that never happened before. Like you got to look at it from, we just talked about earlier in the show with technology. Now today, you can turn on the computer and you can see comments about yourself from here to whenever you want to, and you have no control over it. And sometimes when you're younger and you get to a point where you are at a situation where you're young, you don't think all the way, you're not mature when it comes to certain things. Trust me, if I had a computer screen and I could talk and say things back to people back when I was in my 20s and 21, I wouldn't be here today because but then again, we grew with it. You know what I mean? Like I was there, and then I had an opportunity that it wasn't there. Then I had an opportunity to get older. And then by the time I was old and realized, okay, I can't really say this, but it's human nature. Like, let's be real. Like, it is human nature that you want to defend yourself. It's human nature that when somebody says something bad about you that ain't true, or they really getting at you, I can understand these people as human, and some of the stuff people say to them is crazy. It's wild. So I don't degrade anybody for having a burner account. I just call it being human, right? Hopefully you get to a point where you get to a mature level where you understand that this is what comes with it. Is it fair? No. But like Jason said, sometimes it's just better that you don't look at it, don't go at it, do what your life is, do what you do, and keep it pushing. Because if you go checking yourself all the time and Googling your name, you're going to end up on every Reddit board, and this is not going good.
There could be 1,000 comments, 999 could be good, and it's the one saying you're a piece of crap that's going to stand out.
I disagree with the sentiment that the internet is not real for a few reasons. We don't say the internet is not real when we are monetizing it and benefiting from it in that way. We damn sure don't say that when cyberbullying take place and people harm themselves in a way that's irreversible, right? And so, I think it's real easy to sit up here and say the internet is not real. The issue is people don't want to keep it real that, men and women, we get our feelings hurt. And sometimes we can't take the backlash. It's so funny how people want to move on from Shedeur Sanders, for example, because of some of the backlash some people in the media in this city gets on social media. I just feel like we pick and choose when we want to say if it's real or not. But in my opinion, I think we should just all try to do a better job in how we use it and then controlling ourselves and how we respond. And I am public enemy number one. It depends on my day-to-day mood if I'm going to engage with the negativity or not. Sometimes I'm not in the mood and I want all the smoke, Other times I'm in a good space and I can just let it roll off my back. It depends.
I think the comment I made with the internet is not real. I'm talking about not from a specific standpoint of the interaction with the people and the content you put out. I'm saying
a small minority of
the internet is not real because it's not for a lot of people. It is not an honest place for real interaction.
Social media. I'm with G. Social media. I don't know about the internet. Social media is not real life. Like Twitter is not real life, and Instagram is not real life. Instagram is the life you want people to see. It's not real life. Facebook is not real life, and I don't make $1 off Twitter. Like, never in my life have I made $1 off Twitter. I've never made $1 off YouTube, to be honest, other than obviously the show paying me, but from YouTube itself, I never made $1 off that. So I mean, like I said earlier, I'm almost 50 years old. I don't give a shit about any of this stuff. And
you don't even use your Twitter.
No.
I get people that tag me, say, well, you tell Jason this. And I'm like, Jason's not going to see this.
I could go multiple days without ever being on Twitter. Now, 25 years ago, oh, Lord. I know I wouldn't have reacted the same, but I just, it's not real life to me. I don't care.
And so you know, a lot of it when you say it's not real life, is you realize that some people that interact with you on the internet, they are only there to antagonize, or they don't care. They don't care nothing about you. Like they don't care nothing about, like if it wasn't you, it'll be something else.
Yeah.
So to me, what I always tell people is, you know, the real things that really make sense is, you know, you go to funerals, right? And for those moments, you know, I talked to Jason about this when, you know, we was behind the scenes, and because at the same time we had a lot of people. I was like, dang, we keep going to funerals, Jason.
Yeah.
And I said, when you go to them funerals, bro, you realize none of this, you know what, count. None of it, because when you sitting there looking, you realize what's important. That time that you could have been spending with that person or checking up on people, those are the real interactions, right? Like the interactions between you and people, your family, and you realize that the time you doing with that, yes, it's dopamines, and yes, you like to interact, but the real thing is to be able to connect and make a real connection with somebody. And I think a lot of times I can understand what athletes think and understand, because they are real people, and they are in a position just because you make a bunch of money, people feel like, yeah, you rich, so that richness should count for everything.
Like you don't have real struggles.
Right. You don't got no real,
What social media has done, and I've figured this out around the time of the decision, it gave the general public access to athletes that they never had before. Because, and when LeBron said it became racial over the decision, everyone's like, what are you talking about? How did this wasn't racial? I'm like, go look at his mentions on Twitter, and then come back to me and tell me if it was racial or not. And it gave people a direct line to communicate with these people that before social media were never, and you could never.
Random dude in his base is never talking to Kevin Durant, and now Kevin Durant is, and from his own account, is choosing to respond to certain people.
And 25 years ago, that was not a possibility. No. So, and whether or not they choose to read it or interact with it or whatever is on them.
They see it.
But that just never existed before. So that's where a lot of, like before, you would just have to boo them from the stands, and you would say you suck and whatever else. Well, now you can tell them directly to their account that you suck and everything else. But yet, when you see them in public, it's nothing but handshakes and hugs and, oh, man, I love you.
Right. It's different. It's different when you see them. Like, I always tell people all the time, man, like some people, you know, look, for all the groups of people out there that say they love you, there is also another group of people that don't. Like, there's always, like, as big as your platform is, and you got a bunch of people that love what you're saying today, but then tomorrow you can say something they don't like it. There's always going to be give and takes. But the thing is, it's crazy because now when you're in public, with them it's even crazier because you never know.
Yeah.
That's the scary part. Because when you're accessible, because of social media, I'll tell people like this, more than ever with the rise of the internet and Twitter, regular people have become more of
they're following.
So how many times have you gone different places, or you gone different places, and you just at the grocery store and it's like, hey, How you doing, man?
Yeah.
I saw the show yesterday.
It happens all the time.
And so, and because of us, I don't think of it. I never thought of it in this way. But sometimes when that happens, I now foresee, I kind of see how players feel about it, because at certain times it could be off-putting. Not off-putting, but it could be alarming, because you're like, dang, I didn't even see this person. Like, where did this person come from? Like, how long they've been watching me? Some people will say, hey, I saw you leaving your house the other day. You're like, how you see me? What are you talking about, bro? I saw you walking down the street.
This wasn't yesterday. This was the home game against Washington. We get our little media voucher. You get food at Cavs games. Mm-hmm. Someone tweeted a picture of me from the upper deck of me eating a sandwich, and was like, I'm like, oh God.
Right?
Like, A, it's a terrible picture, so I'm horrified that's on the internet, but also B, like, I'm just trying to eat a sandwich here in peace, guys.
So, this is a healthy discussion. Somebody in the chat said, for example, they saw G at the grocery store, and they kept it pushing. This is how I look at it, because normal, everyday people have large followings. Respect don't cost you nothing. And I always look at things outside of myself. Like, what if you say something to somebody and you catch them in the absolute worst mood, worst time in their life, and they was already, like, on edge, and what you said sent them over? Or what if you really are dealing with somebody who have nothing to lose, and they just kind of like a loose screw and lose it anytime? My point is, you never really know who you run into. Yep. And not everybody is going to give you a pass of, I was just playing, or it's just the internet. Like, there's people out here who stand on business for real. And I just feel like, man, I just try to lead every situation with respect. I do have moments to where if I feel disrespected, I'll kind of like shoot back, but I don't lead with disrespect at all, because I understand, like, it might have consequences that is unforeseen, and don't nobody want that.
What do you got tattooed right here?
11-11.
Oh, the other one then.
Be great, spread love.
There you go. Like,
and by the way,
be kind to everybody, and a lot of the things in this world will be a lot different.
I always tell people, no matter if you agree with me or you don't agree with me,
we're talking sports. It's not that serious.
This is easy. This is sports. Like, people get getting confused. Like, oh, you got a problem? No. Listen, this is sports. There's people out here with real jobs. And by the way, if you do see me, I always tell, if you see me, ain't no problem. You walk up, say hi. I'm gonna talk to you. Matter of fact, I probably am gonna be with my wife, and she's probably gonna ask, "Do you want a picture?" And I'm gonna say, "Yeah." Like, so at the end of the day, like, it's all good, bro. Like, the thing I do love about this is, but after doing this show, there's so many people that show so much love. You know what I'm saying? That just genuine people, whether, they talk about Cavs, Browns, whatever. They just come up, they want to ask about everybody on the show. Hey, how's McNuggets? And they be acting like it's like a huge family. And I think that's why UCSS is cool, because we do be in the chat. I be in the chat all the time with them. I was in the chat making fun of my own coach. This is a Kermit the Frog. I say 100 Kermit the Frogs had to die by in making this coat. Like, so, you know what I'm saying? Like, so we get it. Like, so at the end of the day, we be having fun. But like you said, it ain't that crazy. It ain't that serious.
We're talking sports.
We're talking sports. We're going to have a good time, though.
Let's get to the next topic, because we got two more
Before
we definitely got to get to today.
Topic, we got a related super chat. Always Male 1126 says, I think Earl's point is basically people that want to get rid of Shedeur Sanders, Jason, because of the noise, say the internet is not real because they be getting beat up online.
For the record, when I covered the Cavs, I was beloved. And I didn't care then either. It didn't faze me then either. And by the way, I get people. I was in the airport club the other day, and they came up and they said, "I love you. I hate what you say about Shedeur, but we still love having you." And it's still like, if you think I'm getting worked up because Harry XYZ 697 doesn't like me, come on, man.
G gonna be worked up when I'm done. I've been in this jack cooking him.
I know.
For that jacket, I've been cooking him.
Listen, I feel
my
like
man look like a MySpace profile. He look like the Drew Hill member who didn't make it. Like,
hey, right now, man.
He look like he tried to get it done that last season of the shot.
Hey, by the way, this in my way. They had this same color scheme on in my way. Go back and look at it. And Tyrese was in part of the other dance crew in my way. Usher, go check it out.
Check it out. All right, Earl, give us a read. Let's get to our next topic.
Yeah, man, make sure you catch the latest episode of the Ultimate Browns and the next episode of the Ultimate Browns with the homie G Bush. You never know who's pulling up with him, man, but shout out to G. He puts out fire content each way, takes the entire episode, break it up into some new segments for people to check out always got a triggering headline that makes you go, you know what? Let me click on that video. So go ahead and check out the Ultimate Brown Show with the homie G. Bush.
G is the king of clicky headlines. It's an art, and you have mastered it, my friend.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the, you just got to be provocative, but you can't go too far. You got to be provocative.
If G hasn't gone too far yet, then I have no idea where the line is. G, some of your headlines are outrageous, but I love it. All right, guys, let's talk about a little hindsight here. We had Mike Renner on earlier talking about the 2026 draft. We know the Browns knocked it out of the park in their 2025 draft class, but was Mason Graham the right pick at number 5? We have a year's worth of data now. We've seen how the rookies have performed in at least one season, and we're going to project a little bit here as well. But G, in hindsight, looking back at it, was Mason Graham the right pick for Andrew Berry at number 5? This does not include the trade. This is simply the trade happens regardless. Was Mason Graham the right player to select with the 5th pick?
This is a tough one, man. Usually I'm always a person that's like, yes, no. I'm real quick with it. Yep, nope, yep. This one is a tough one because we've always discussed the level, and it's kind of like the same thing with Caleb Downs. Yes, Mason Graham is a really good defensive tackle. Yes, Caleb Downs is a really good safety. Yes, Arvell Reese is kind of an outside pass rusher. Sometimes when you get these guys, the position that they play is not a truly premium position. So when you're looking at whether I should take them or not, you got to look at it in a long-term approach. Mason Graham, I think, had a solid season. His season wouldn't pop off at like 48 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, half a sack. And I can't say it was an awesome season because you got to get a whole sack. You see what I'm saying? I need that production. However, I can see some of the things that they were looking at. I don't know if I'll be able to tell you whether or not this is the right pick until 2 to 3 years because I think he still needs a lot to develop. And I think one of the hardest parts of watching the development is as a defensive tackle, it takes a little bit longer for you to develop and for the light bulb to come on, especially because I think one of his areas of opportunity is to get stronger and to develop a go-to pass rush move, which takes a little bit of time. So right now, it's mixed results for me. If I had to lean, I would lean on yes. But, I wouldn't be mad at nobody if they said, if it was old G. Bush, and said, if you draft Mason Graham, I'm quitting.
Earl, can I ask you a question real quick? What is the Browns' biggest need in the 2026 draft? Position-wise.
To me?
Yes.
Tackle.
What's their second biggest need?
Either guard or wide receiver.
Say wide receiver, right? Because that's what mostly is being mocked to the Browns at either 6 or at 24. One of those two. It seems to be a tackle and a receiver in some order, right? What if I told you that despite the fact that Mason Graham had a good rookie season, and this takes nothing away from Mason Graham because he is on a trajectory to become a very good defensive tackle in the NFL. He showed a lot of promise as a rookie, and this is less to do with Mason Graham and more to do with the position he plays. What if I told you that 2 picks after Mason Graham went, the Jets took a left tackle in Armand Membu, who had a really good rookie season. And then with the 8th pick in the draft, the Carolina Panthers selected Tet McMillan, the receiver, who turned into the Offensive Rookie of the Year. And then with the 9th pick in the draft, the Saints took Kelvin Banks, a left tackle, who also ranked among the top 30 left tackles in all of football this year. There were 89 qualified tackles. Membu and Banks both ranked in the top 30. This has nothing to do with Mason Graham as a player. It simply has to do with the fact that there are positions that were on the board that could have filled bigger needs for the Browns, that would have had them set up better for the future and set them up for better future success than a defensive tackle the year after they just drafted Mike Hall in the 2nd round with their top pick. Membu, Banks, or McMillan. Gee, if we were entering this season and I told you, hey, only 4 of the 5 starters on the Browns offensive line are free agents, but we got a really good young tackle on the left side protecting Shador's blind side that we know we can build around. We've been looking at the 6th pick and the 24th pick more as luxuries.
I would take it.
What if they drafted Tet McMillan? And the receiver core, which, by the way, Jerry Jeudy and Tet McMillan as the foundations of your receiving core with Harold Fannin, it's a pretty darn good-looking. No, it's not elite. It's not the Bengals. It's not the top in football. But you have a really good rookie tight end, a damn good rookie receiver, and then hopefully that takes some pressure off Jerry Jeudy.
You know how crazy the alternate universe is?
Because I'm right.
If they draft Ted McMillan, does Joe Flacco ever get benched?
Who knows? And that don't matter, G. The reality is Mason Graham.
The alternate universe in the time machine
could turn out to be a really good defensive tackle. I do think he will turn out to be a really good defensive tackle. This is less to do with the fact that Mason Graham is not a good player, because he is a good player. It just has to do with the fact that 3 guys drafted in the 7th, 8th, and 9th spots just behind him are also really good players at more premium positions that are harder to find. So I do think, in hindsight, G, 1 year out, I do think it was the wrong decision.
I think some of it went into it is knowing that you have Myles Garrett, knowing that you do have a generational player like that, and I think what they really wanted to do is pair Myles Garrett with 2 guys in the middle that are young, that can get better, and while Myles is there, they can have some growth alongside him. So by the time Myles is gone, if they got a dominant defensive pass rusher in the middle of the field, they can restock around him. But I wouldn't be mad at what you said. T-Mac, nice. 2 tackles. We definitely need 2 tackles. I wouldn't be salty if somebody said that was a swing and miss, because there was a point in time where I was that guy, Jason, and he's like, bro, you're going to have to, what are you going to do? Do a podcast? Because you got to quit. Like, you told us when you was quitting. I said, I can't believe they did this. But I think you can't separate it from the pick. The pick they took, right? You can't separate it from the fact that they got a first-round draft pick from it. Yeah. And I think that they said, okay, let's stack the defense. Let's stack it and then go back into the next year's draft and do offense. I think that's why D-tackle was a priority.
Yeah, I don't think it was the right pick, but I don't think it's ultimately going to be a bad pick.
Yeah.
Two things can be true. I think Mason Graham's going to be just fine. I went back and I was just looking at, because I know the NFL just did a redraft. NFL.com just did a redraft of last year's draft to see, and Browns had 3 players taken in the first round of the redraft. That's a win to me. I've never seen a redraft.
Graham, Schlesinger,
and Fannin, and Harold Fannin were all first-round picks.
Wow. ESPN did theirs, and they had 2 in the first and then the 33rd pick.
Okay.
Again,
so close.
It's close.
Yeah.
They had Graham going 19 and Schlesinger. No, Graham going 21, Schlesinger 19.
I think I have to look again. I think Graham went 16 in this, and if you're never going to get, like, you're never going to do a redraft, and you're never going to get 1 through 32 the same.
No,
there's always going to be movement. Now, if you take a guy at 5 and he's not showing up in those 32, that's a problem.
Where did Banks, McMillan, and Membu go?
I got it right here. Membu went 6 to the Raiders. Hunter went 5 to the Jags. Will Campbell still went 4 to the Patriots. Jackson Dart went 3 to the Giants. Banks went 2 to the Browns. So Cam Ward 1, Kelvin Banks 2. This is obviously without the trade. Giants take Dart at 3. Will Campbell goes 4. Travis Hunter goes 5. Membu goes 6. Abdul Carter 7. Tet McMillan goes 8 to the Panthers.
So the 3 guys that we mentioned going 7, 8, 9 went 2.
And Shuck
2,
went,
7, and 8.
Shuck went 9th. We didn't even talk about the quarterbacks. Well,
that's a whole different.
I mean, Jackson Dart and Tyler Shuck are top 10 picks on a redraft.
Yeah.
Yo, just thinking out loud, hypothetically, we did a topic, I think, yesterday about year 3 players who needed to show something more, Mike Hall or Zach Zinter. And we all know the Browns' offensive line is not that damn
shambles.
Good. But I will say this. In my opinion, I think that Andrew Berry and then the previous regime that was here with him, they at least tried to address the issue, but they didn't do a good job of doing so. It's not like that they didn't draft offensive linemen that they thought by the time we got to this point with Batonio and Teller that they would be quality enough players that you can just plug and play. And just maybe the pick of Mason Graham is an admittance of, okay, maybe I didn't hit on Mike Hall. And I'm only saying that because we've heard plenty of times that the vision of this team, at least under Kevin Stefanski, was built in the trenches, inside and out. So they take a lot of heat, but it's not for lack of trying, if you get what I'm trying to say. It's not like they just totally ignored it altogether. They
totally ignored it last year.
And it's funny because, like, Tommy Tagia, for example, or Jordan Elliott, guys who didn't play that great here have went on in other places, and now they are quality and serviceable defensive tackles?
I think so. When you drafting, there's two things, right? You have to identify, but then you got to develop. You got to develop. So, hey, that's the two-part program. They did identify that they needed offensive linemen, but they got Zach Zenner, and he ain't looking like he was worth it. Or they did, address the tackle position. And listen, at some point, you have to own your record is what your record is in terms of your draft record.
Yeah.
And I go back and say, hey, look, I told you that you missed on all them receivers. I said, you go back and rewind these shows, you missed on all these defensive tackles. So you have to understand that I can't, just because we tried to address it does not necessarily mean you get an A for effort. You got to actually hit on them dudes.
Listen,
right?
I could try 12 different recipes for some Italian recipe. If it comes out crap, I'm not serving it, right? Like, if I still don't have the right recipe, I'm not inviting my parents over for dinner and saying, hey,
you're going back in for a 13th try.
Like, and the Browns, like Earl said, they've tried. I'm just racking my head real quick. Jed Wills, James Hudson,
the Wills
DeWand, Zinter,
the Wills thing hurt
and Whippler. Are those the five? They drafted more offensive linemen than just those five in 6 years. Am I wrong? Like, am I missing somebody?
You said DeWand.
Jed Wills, James Hudson, DeWand, Whippler, and Zach. Are those five offensive linemen in 6 years? Like, you should be drafting 2 or 3 a year, in my opinion.
Let's see, did they got anybody else?
Maybe not every year, but like.
No, that from
like
what
I don't think, and no offense, I don't think that's trying. Like, you drafted 5 offensive linemen in 6 years.
I think what hurt them the most.
And none of them panned out, by the way. Not a single one has panned out.
If you go back, we do revisionist history. If Jed Wills hits, if Jed Wills is Tristan Wirfs, you got a whole side of the thing. You got a whole nother.
I want to know what happened with his surgery.
Jed Wills.
Because this is nuts.
Yeah,
he should be in the NFL somewhere. Mm-hmm. But I think he's still. I mean, as of late in the season, he was still not right. But like this was supposed to be just a routine scope. So what happened?
Sometimes
I'm not saying he's an all-pro. I'm not saying that at all. But I still maintain, like, Jed Wills is just an average tackle.
Right.
And for him to not be anywhere in the NFL, I just think, I don't know what happened with that surgery.
It's crazy because sometimes, like, I've had surgery multiple times. I done had, like...
You've had scopes. You had the same surgery.
Same scopes, all of them. Patella tendon, ACLs, right? This left knee is great. This is my jumping basketball knee. This knee is great. This knee is arthritic. This knee is deteriorating. This knee has arthritis. It just, like, it has no more cartilage. So sometimes you go in and it's a scope and they're like, okay, we got to clean it up a little bit. And that thing never gets better. It becomes problematic. It swells up. You got to drain it. And I think when Jed Wills kind of started that process, it was like, man, that's why I'm scared with DeJuan Jones. When you start having them injuries and you big, these is massive dudes moving around. If that fluid start getting in there and they got to drain that knee and babysit it, then you're taking practice days off. You don't have the bend anymore and flexibility. It's just different. I will say in this draft, though, talking about the draft.
This coming year or last year's
this
draft?
one. People talk about last year's draft. Last year's draft was great. I don't think people understand the level of pressure is on this year's draft.
Oh, they got hit.
These guys, that's why I be looking. These guys have to be starters. Like, that's why I'm like, if I'm looking at it from the perspective of what you do in this draft, and I know people talk about defense, there is no way I think Andrew Berry with a clear conscience can go into next year and say, hey, we got Bailey from Texas Tech or Ruben Bain. Look how great our defense. No, that's not going to work because you missed on some things when if we would have got it, if we would have had them receivers before, we could have did that, but not now.
What was it last year? 3 picks in the top 96. This year the Browns got 4 picks in the top 100.
They had 5 in the top 100 last year, I believe.
But they got more, like, and they got a better talented pool of players available to them based on the draft picks that they have. But I got to push back on you a little bit, Mike. I would say You said you don't think he tried. He tried. Think about it.
5 or 6 years?
Within Elias, 5 or 6 years, right? Mm-hmm. He also traded for one, and then he also re-signed 2 guys who at said time was in their prime. And somebody in the chat asked, is it the offensive line, how much of the offensive line failures was drafting and how much of it was coaching? What y'all think?
I mean, they haven't drafted anyone that's been good. Like, they've yet to draft some. They just haven't, right? So whether it's development, coaching, not like Jed Wills has gone somewhere and been good. Earl, you made the point about Togiai and Jordan Elliott earlier. They came in, left, and have had success. So, you can look at that and say maybe that's coaching. But Zach Zinter was the guy they drafted. They haven't been able to get in the field. Luke Whippler's a guy who's played 5 games in 3 years now, and maybe he's penciled in to be a starter. We don't know how good he is. DeJuan Jones, his best season was his rookie season. Then he's been hurt. When he's been healthy since then, it's been on a downward slope. I guess you could say he's trying, but they haven't acquired a single good offensive lineman in 6 years. Just the reality. I don't like to admit that. It's just the reality of the situation.
I believe that it goes hand in hand. I'm a big development guy. I truly believe that the coaches that really elevate their teams are the guys that can really develop. And I will say this: the Cleveland Browns took a massive step back when they brought in what's the offensive line coach after Callahan?
Dickerson.
Andy Dickerson.
Dickerson, and then they had to have Vrabel come in and basically take over that unit. I think they took a massive step backwards. Some of the stuff that they were doing was ridiculous. And even to this point, even this year, there are times where you watch the Cleveland Browns offensively in the run game and you just didn't know who you're blocking. Guys didn't know their assignments. They didn't understand where they should be going. It wasn't anything cohesive. Like the rules of how you block and slide protect or the way you guys are going to block up, and double team and what you're going to do in the outside, inside zone. It was non-existent. So it goes hand in hand. Yes, you need great players. Also, you need somebody to be able to get those players in and create a system and coach those guys up.
It's never one or the other.
It's neither.
It's never one.
It's neither either.
When guys don't go anywhere else and develop anywhere else, it means it was bad drafting.
Yeah.
If guys like Austin Corbett did fine elsewhere,
right.
He went on and did and so he's not. That wasn't a draft miss. That was a development miss.
Right.
James Hudson went to the Giants and sucked. So he just stinks.
So James Hudson was trash, and he's not good.
I mean, Wyatt Teller came here and they developed him,
right?
And that was good scouting and it was good development to turn him into an All-Pro or a Pro Bowl. And you missed one, Dawson Deaton. Don't forget the Dawson Deaton era, 7th round tackle.
So 6 and 6. I don't know.
I went and looked.
Well, I guess we're arguing.
It's easy to forget. It's easy to forget about Dawson Deaton.
But
he was great.
But there are. I will give him credit though. When you take a look at it. They found Ethan Pochers out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's a good trade.
That was a good trade, good move.
But they only made that move because Nick Harris got hurt.
Right.
Like that was a move out of necessity that ended up panning out way better than anyone could have imagined.
Right.
But that was not part of their plan. They didn't go identify Pochers and say we need to bring him in. That only happened because of the lower body injury.
And a lot of it, and you'll say this too. A lot of it is availability and injuries.
Yeah.
Jack Conklin couldn't stay. Wyatt missed time. Jack Conklin missed a bunch of time. Ethan Pochers missed a bunch of time. DeJuan Jones missed a super amount of time. So it's been a revolving door. So, does it really make me nervous that the 2 top tackles that people are mentioning are Amali Noga and Caden Proctor, and both of them have some issues?
I mean, Proctor sounds like DeJuan. It's like DeJuan
to me,
all over
I don't want to go too far. I am not a Caden Proctor guy. I don't think you can bank on him. I don't like a guy that's that big who's already had weight problems in college. And the footwork, I didn't see the footwork and the bend and some of those things in his pass protection. And Mali Noga might be a better guard. So it's a tricky thing to project these guys, especially when you need a tackle, and it might not be a class necessarily that has something you're looking for.
For sure. All right, Earl, let's do a read and let's get to our final topic of the day.
Yeah, Mike, tell the people what they can expect on the next episode of the Ultimate Cleveland Cavaliers.
We'll do sometime this weekend, maybe Sunday after the Thunder game. I'll do a little post-game recap and some thoughts, but we had an episode go up on Tuesday previewing the Nets game, previewing the return of Evan Mobley and how he fits with Jared Allen. That's on our YouTube page. You can find that there now. We'll do another one Maybe this weekend we have to figure out. There's a little bit of a StreamYard issue that we have to get solved. So for all the Ultimate shows, we're kind of on hiatus right now. But we'll figure that out.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can't go live today. If anyone wanted to go live today, our StreamYard's not connected to our YouTube page. We got to get that reconnected. So when it is, we'll be back with all your Ultimate shows. Hopefully that happens later this afternoon. All right, Earl, let's get into some Bleacher Report player rankings. Bleacher Report ranked the 30 best players in the NBA this season. It's not historically speaking. This is not what you've done in the past. This is not your resume. That is this season, 25-26.
As of today?
It came out yesterday before the game started. Who have been the 30 best players in the NBA this season? And I remember the first couple, but Steve, if you don't mind pulling up this list because I don't have 30 names to read. You can see, I'll put the glasses on to read it. They had Jokic 1, SGA 2, Wemby 3, Luka 4, Giannis 5, Kawhi 6. Let's keep moving. At 7, they had Cade Cunningham, Donovan Mitchell coming in at number 8, Ant Edwards at 9, Steph Curry at 10, Tyrese Maxey 11, Jaylen Brown at 12. We're going to run through the full 30, then we're going to discuss whether or not the Cavs are placed in the appropriate area. Brunson 13, Durant 14, Jamal Murray 15, Denny Advia 16, Jalen Johnson 17, newly acquired Cavaliers guard James Harden at 18. At 19, you had Booker, Şengün at 20, Scotty Barnes 21, Holmgren 22, Evan Mobley at 23. I have some thoughts on that as well. Lauri Markkanen at 24. And the last 6 players they ranked in their top 30, Embiid 25, LeBron 26, Siakam 27, Jalen Duran at 28, Cat 29, and Austin Reeves at number 30. Jason, let's start with Donovan, then we'll work our way back with the Cavs. Coming in at number 8 on the Bleacher Report top 30 players just this season list. Is that an appropriate ranking for Donovan, or is he too high or too low?
No, I think it's, again, you don't get hung up on the address, at least I don't. It's the range, and he's in the right range. I mean, I would make the case that Ant should be above Donovan, if we're being totally honest. You could make the case Cade should be below him, although Cunningham's playing incredibly well. But, he's not a top 5 player. Donovan, in my opinion, he's not top 5, but he's in the top 10. So you want to quibble about 7, 8, or 9, go ahead. It's not worth it to me. I think that's about right where he belongs. He's having a fabulous year. He looks re-energized since the trade. And, yeah, I think it's fine.
G?
I think he's spot on. I think somewhere in that range, Cade Cunningham had another monster game against the Knicks the other night. A lot of those guys in that top of that list are having great season. I think Jaylen Brown's having a crazy season.
Jaylen Brown's way too low.
He's cooking this year. Giannis in the top 5. He's missed a lot of games, but I mean,
he's still Giannis.
He's still Giannis, but I don't have a problem with that. 8 is pretty good.
Kawhi's played out of his mind.
Yeah,
this year.
Kawhi's been played great in the All-Star game, and Donovan Mitchell leading the league in 3-pointers made, I believe.
He is.
So he's right where he's supposed to be in that range, and I think Donovan would be cool with that. There's a bunch of great players. Maxey's playing well. Right in that range works.
Okay, because it's top 8, range is a very subjective. I made my own list. I'm at 6. Listen, Giannis has played 30 games this year. Donovan's played 52.
Right. Who's the better player?
But this isn't this is who's been better this season. Giannis is a better player. You would take Giannis over Donovan any time. But
okay.
The
if
question
they're both
is,
healthy.
But he's not been healthy, and that's the point. Giannis has played 30 games this season. Donovan's played 52. So for Giannis to be ahead of Donovan on a list of the best players this season, in 40% less games, he'd have to be 40% better than Donovan this year, and he just hasn't been. The numbers are close enough. Yes, Giannis was having the best offensive season of his career, averaging 30-plus points. Donovan's averaging 29 points on the most efficient shooting he's ever been. He deserves to be ahead of Giannis based simply on the fact that Giannis has missed 20 games. It's not my burner account. Or how would you say?
No, he says Tyvis logged into his burner account.
Tyvis just logged into his burner account. He finna go cuss Jason out.
Talk about Giannis.
Tyvis can get as mad as he wants over this. Giannis has only played 30 games this year. If this was overall, who's the best players in the NBA? Yeah, Giannis is ahead of Donovan. But this is based off what you have done in 25-26. And in 25-26, Donovan in 52 games is better than what Giannis has done in just 30 games. It's a 22-game difference. It's 40%.
Here's the problem, McNuggets. They even the Cavs out because Donovan might be a couple of spots too low, but Evan Mobley is a bunch of spots too high.
I got a big issue with Mobley, and we'll get to that in a second.
I was like, what?
So I made my top 6 because I think Donovan's at 6. I wanted to get him top 5. I wanted to come on here and make the argument for Don. I couldn't. Jokic, even though he's missed 10 games, I'd argue 80% of Jokic is better than anyone
the games that Jokic has missed don't matter.
Jokic has played 12 more games than Giannis.
You know what I'm saying? Them MVPs is talking.
It's 52 versus 42 versus 30.
Touche. Cavs on Cavs crime over here.
Big difference.
Ultimate Cavs. There's a divide. I need to put a thumbnail up.
In no world can I put Donovan Mitchell ahead of Giannis.
Based off what you have just done this season, he is. I have SGA 2. Okay. I have Jaylen Brown 3, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Jaylen Brown.
He's having a great year.
He's been
30 points a game. He's missed one game all season. He's been durable as he could be. This is a team that was written for dead.
So you got what? You got Jokic 1.
SGA 2. Jaylen 3. Kawhi 4. And even though Wemby's missed 10 games, his two-way impact is higher than Don. I couldn't argue, so I have Don at 6.
I feel sorry
and slightly
for
ahead of
Jaylen
Cade
Brown.
because of the efficiency.
I feel sorry for Jaylen Brown. Like, he's never going to get any just desserts. Like,
he's getting it this year.
Jaylen Brown is always going to be stuck in middling purgatory. You know Jaylen Brown is good, but anytime they put a list out and he's anywhere closer to he's not going to be he's never going to be in the top 10. And it sucks for me.
This year he had unquestionably, in my opinion, he has been.
He's the reason Boston's still hanging around.
Yeah, like they're the 2 seed because of Jaylen Brown and the way he's played this year. Now, let's get to the other side of the equation here. They had Evan Mobley at 23.
That's crazy.
Y'all know between Jason and I, we own about 87% of the Evan Mobley stock in the entire country, at least in the state of Ohio. I have been as high on Evan Mobley as anyone. Ranking him 23rd in this list is absolutely freaking insane.
Yeah, no, it's too high.
Absurd. Just like I said with Giannis, you get Doc for missing games. He's missed time twice with different calf injuries. He has not taken the step forward that we needed him to take this year. I don't think he's been as bad as some people claim he's been. I don't think he's been that bad. But it certainly has not been the linear progression in the step forward we wanted to see from where he was as a second-team All-NBA guy last year. He's too high. Embiid's been better than him this year. Giannis has been better. Not Giannis. LeBron's been better than him this year. Austin Reeves, who's missed a ton of games when he's played, his average of 30 points.
I don't think LeBron's been better than him.
You don't think so?
I think no.
Embiid's definitely been.
Yeah, I would give you Embiid.
So I think Evan Mobley is here where he is today because of your basketball community. Evan Mobley is a unicorn darling. Evan Mobley, the thought of the upside of Evan Mobley is intoxicating to analytics basketball people because they're like, wow, did you see him? Did you see how they switched on that pick and roll? And he was in the guy's face. He took 3 dribbles, he cut him off, and then he got back help side and helped change the shot. He's great. Oh my gosh, if he hits 2 more of those threes, this guy's gonna be. So
he hit 2 threes in 6 weeks.
So it's one of them things where Mobley. And by the way, I did tell you it was the second greatest year. The second greatest statistical year of all time for a Cleveland Cavalier other than LeBron James and what he did last year. With that being said, he skated on that. He skated. You guys are giving him Lifetime Achievement Awards based on.
Don't say you, because I'm dropping them.
These dudes right here.
Bleacher Report.
He got.
Who I guess I do work for, so maybe it is.
You guys, 23. That is ridiculous. There is no way he's in the top 25 in his production this year.
Where do they have LeBron?
Brown was like 26.
I'm 26. Yep, I remember that because I'm like, dang, Brown ain't 26.
Yeah, so they had Markkanen 24. So Mobley's 23, Markkanen 24, Embiid 25, LeBron 26, Siakam 27. By the way, Jalen Duren has definitely been better than Mobley.
Definitely. Best year of his life, all-star.
Siakam's been better than Mobley. Embiid's been better than Mobley. There's some other guys that have been left off this list that I believe have been better than Ev too. When he's healthy and playing his best, he should be higher than 23. But based off, once again, just what he's done this season, he ain't up there.
In the last month, Jared Allen's better than Mobley.
Last
couple weeks.
Hey, listen, I said last month. It's only 4 weeks in a month.
I'll give you like 2 weeks. And one of them was the All-Star break.
Well, right? Listen, and one was, Jared Allen. Hey, but listen though, Mobley has missed a bunch of time. Jared Allen has not. I don't understand how. Actually, to be truthful, the Mobley stock market is almost like Bitcoin during the recession, bro. Like, you can't even get rid of that at this point. You bought high, you can't sell low now.
I think Mobley. I agree. Mobley's too high. I think he's probably. I don't think he's as low as probably you guys think.
32.
He's around that around that 30 mark, wherever you want to put him. I don't think LeBron's a top 30 player anymore.
Really?
No.
Jason?
No.
What?
I mean, he's 40 years old.
Okay, hold on.
I'm not trying.
In spurts.
He can't,
in spurts.
Oh, sure. I mean, he's the Toby Keith song. He's not as good as he once was, but he can be as good once as he ever was.
That's a bar. Somebody, Don DeMarco.
But
and you know what? LeBron has missed enough time that you're right.
He's not top 30
You're probably maybe.
He made that list on name.
Reputation.
And LeBron.
He's still wonderful. He's it's incredible what he's doing at his age.
Could he if he want to? Does he want to?
Does he want to be a top 30?
No, so I feel like he's not a top 30 player because it's only the fact that he has no want to do certain things.
I mean, he's old, and he's done it all. And I do think he's sort of at a career crossroads. Do not clip this. Please don't clip this. This will totally get taken out.
Whoa.
This will totally get taken out.
No. First of all, this never happened. Do not mess up my reunion with LeBron James.
Jason.
I'm just being honest. I don't think he's a top 30 player.
No, he's a top 10 player. LeBron, don't listen to your friend. Listen, you need to come on back. LeBron being petty season. He'd be like, what you say? Nah, you're a top 30 player when you want to be. See, you ain't got to be doing all that on defense, McNuggets. Why would he spend that?
He doesn't guard at all.
Yeah,
at all.
He didn't spend that, and he don't want to be a primary ball handler the whole time. I want to be on the basketball.
It sounds like he'd be a great fit with a team that maybe has like two really good creation guards, like maybe one that has a beard and one that's nicknamed after an insect. And it sounds like he'd be good alongside two pretty good defensive bigs.
I mean, think about this.
Shooters around.
If he was still a top 30 player, would we be talking about him on a minimum or a mid-level? Any of those other guys on that list, are they minimum or mid-level players?
Are any of those guys on the list 40 years old?
But that's what I'm saying. He's not. We're making the case that he's a top 30 player, and I'm looking at the names around him going, are they going to take a mid-level next year? Are they on a minimum? Are they going to take a minimum?
So let me see. Let's go on this.
Any of those players taking a minimum or a mid-level?
No. Let's see who I would take LeBron over. All right, so go down. I'm not going to do it on this list. Go ahead. Give me the next two.
Well, we're done with this. We got to let Earl chime in here.
Okay.
You're not taking LeBron over those guys.
Keep going.
No.
I was looking for something. Scotty Barnes, I don't know, dog. I don't like Scotty Barnes' game.
He's playing well this year.
He is, but I hate Scotty Barnes' game. I don't like his game at all. Let's see. Siakam? Well, he's higher than Siakam. I tried it.
Earl, you got any thoughts before we get to Super Chats?
No, time to get to Super Chats, then get to some final thoughts. We got something that the Lloyd family wants to share. First up is Bill. He says, fun stat, Malik Willis had among the best EPA of any QB with at least 50 attempts in 2025, but his EPA his rookie year was worse than Shedeur. Still intrigued by Willis.
Okay, let's just stop with this nonsense. Malik Willis is 5 or 6 years in the league. What year is he?
This will be his fifth.
4-year rookie. Okay. You think a team's going to sit around and wait 5 years to develop a quarterback? No. You want to give Shedeur 5 years to develop? Are you kidding me? Seriously?
I want to give him.
This is what upsets me. It's not the stupid chat. The thing that upsets me about the Shedeur conversation is nobody can be honest. Very few people are just honest about what is actually going on here. He's not good. He's not good. Can he be good 4 or 5 years from now? Sure, maybe. It goes back to the Imani Bates discussion. I'm never going to put a cap on what a guy can or can't do. Right now, he's not very good. And they don't have time to wait 3, 4, 5 years to develop them. Those late round picks, a lot of times when they hit with other teams. Or they hit because the guy in front of them has 3 or 4 years left in their run, and then they move out, and then the next guy comes in. The Browns need a quarterback now.
I thought this kind of read like he was intrigued by.
That's what aggravates me about this. Willis. What's that?
This read like he was intrigued by Willis. He said still intrigued by Willis. He was just kind of pointing that out.
I think he was saying, look at Willis now versus where he started. Were you still intrigued?
But I don't think the Browns have a long window. I think the Browns will give him an opportunity to compete in 2026 and see what he can do. But if he don't do nothing in 2026, I don't think nobody's going to say, let's sit around for 5 years.
Oh, Lord, they will.
This is a quarterback class where – Earl, what's up?
All right, next with J. Earl 48. The Cavs all-time starting five, considering everyone is in their prime, is who?
Say it again one more time.
All-time starting five, considering everyone is in their prime, is who?
All-time Cavs in their prime?
Kyrie, Don, Bron, Love, and Shaq.
Oh, good call on Shaq.
Yeah, that's crazy. In their prime? Yeah.
Yeah, I can't argue with that, actually.
Yeah,
I was trying to fit those 80 guys in, Doherty or Price or Nance, but
they ain't Shaq.
That's crazy.
They ain't Shaq.
I mean, unless you tell me Mark Price is better than – I don't remember watching him, but Mark Price.
I'd take Kyrie.
He nailed it. He nailed that.
Dawson says, can the Browns host a Super Bowl in the new stadium? Also, I like the dude white jersey, but would like to see a bright orange uni. Bring 12 on the show.
Shador, you have an open invite. Anytime you want to come join us, trust us. We would love to have you.
Phil gifted 10 memberships.
Shout out to Phil.
The Real Knight says Mikey was throwing shade at KD.
I love KD. I've actually interviewed KD twice. I think among random people that have interviewed KD, I'd say me and KD had a decent – I mean, he wouldn't remember who I am at all, but like –
Back in New Jersey?
I did one with Team USA and then one when I used to write for Dime Magazine back in the day.
Yeah.
DB Dog 21 says the Browns can't re-sign Devin Bush. They may look at Downs, especially if JOK is truly finished. If they sign a top wide receiver in free agency, maybe a sign. Thoughts?
Who, in your opinion, is the top receiver in free agency? Like
ain't coming in here.
It's a low list. Like
I think the best receivers you can get is a trade option.
Yeah.
And you have to draft some guys. Like that's a lot of times, man, look, it's like I said, you have to develop some people. That's just what it is, bro. We can't everybody in a finished product. And even if they were finished products, there's a thing called money that other people have more than you. The better situation.
The reason in the whole Mason Graham conversation, the reason we talk about premium positions, premium receivers very rarely hit free agency. Premium tackles almost never hit free agency. I saw Cleve TA tweeted out the last 12 Pro Bowl tackles, 10 were first-round picks and 9 were drafted in the top 20. So you want a premium tackle, take him high in the draft.
Yeah.
Two more. M. Bine say, doesn't it feel like if they were just camouflaging the tanking they did last year with the picks they made, making no improvements on the offensive line? The last one says, I don't agree with Mikey. If they don't draft Mason in the middle, Miles doesn't break the sack record.
There's some merit to that.
Level.
That's true.
He was a big part of our defense.
I was thinking about that as we were talking about it, but I think Malik Collins gets a big assist on that as well.
Yeah.
Of course.
And also, Miles breaking the sack record didn't do jack crap for the record. Like, they still sucked.
Right.
Like, they still were
they're still a terrible
bad team. I just think when you're looking to move – and once again, Mason Graham's a really good player. Like, I don't want to take anything away from the player Mason Graham is. You just would rather have a tackle or an elite receiver or a top-tier receiver to build your team around than a defensive tackle because guys in free agency can be signed at defensive tackle, a la a Malik Collins, who, as good as Mason Graham was this year, he wasn't Malik Collins.
No.
Right? Like Malik Collins was all the production you expected from Mason Graham and then some. And look at the Browns' trials and tribulations trying to find receivers and tackles. It's just you got to draft them.
I look at it like this, man. 2026 is going to be here, and the Browns are going to play a bunch of young players again. So, a lot of them you're not going to know specifically what it is they're going to be. And I also think that, as we talk about and break this thing down, we have to chart the trajectory because the goal is that players are going to make a huge leap from, year 1 to year 2. Isaiah Bond, you'll get a training camp. You're going to get Quinshon Judkins that get a training camp. Mike Hall Jr. may come back. Schlesinger should be better. He'll probably be a captain. So there's going to be a lot of guys they're going to have to get another group of guys and young guys to add with those dudes. And the Browns are going to be playing young guys. Now, the great thing about playing young guys is there's low expectations, but if you hit on some of these guys, then you have a completely different mindset of what it looks like, especially if you can get these coaches to get something out of these young dudes. But the reality is they're going to play a bunch of young guys, and it's going to be even younger than they were last year because a lot of the guys that they can't sign on the offensive line, they're going to be replaced by young guys.
Half the roster will be first and second-year players.
Yeah.
All right, so I was trying to get some final thoughts on, but y'all decided to ramble on 3 minutes after the final super chat. I was going to say final thought, anything that's not sports related, but Jason, the last minute and a half belongs to you.
No, I have a minute and a half. Go ahead.
Earl, I want to hear your final thought.
That's not the way the show was structured. Jason, you go ahead.
No, I don't need. I was just need 30 seconds at the end.
Go ahead, it's yours.
My wife sent a picture of AJ and Jack. She wanted me to put up at the end. So that's AJ on the left after conference with all his medals. That's his best friend Jack on the right. They're part of the contingent going to districts. They're both freshmen. It's a hell of an accomplishment to make it this far in swimming as freshmen. They're both on relays, and they're both doing individual events this weekend at Bowling Green. So shout out to Jack and AJ.
Good luck,
to
man.
all the Avon Lake. Good luck to all the swimmers, but particularly the Avon Lake swimmers.
Bring the medals home. Bring the medals home, dog.
That's all.
That's crazy. By the way, I listen, this dude got abs now?
Oh, bro, he's got an 8-pack.
I see,
it's
bro.
Ridiculous.
I said, bro, he got the little V's right
He's
here.
got,
yeah. This dude,
he was getting in bed the other night, and I was like, man, that's beyond a 6-pack.
Hey,
that swimming's no joke. Like it is
a hell of a workout.
Like all those.
You know what's funny though? One of my best friends swam at Virginia Tech, all ACC. I went to his wedding whenever I went to his wedding, it was in September. He's the only fat swimmer. And he was fat in college. Like he's not fat, he's just bigger.
Yeah, yeah.
All his friends are tall, lanky, look like skeletons.
Yeah.
And he was a 2-time All-ACC swimmer, was awesome. But shout out to Harrison. Hope you're doing well, buddy.
I think swimming is a great cross-trainer for all sports. For football players especially, they should all be in the water swimming in the off-season.
One of the worst workouts and one of the toughest ones is treading water.
Ooh.
For life.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Peace.